Stars are calling again. You feel that? Oh yeah, let's dive in.
Sudden knowing deep inside, orbs overhead, you can't hide a space of fire in your chest. Messages come through the tears, need moments wide-eyed and true. I keep getting closer to you. One another, life's the plan, we were made to understand.
When the air starts to shake, we don't back, we awake. Say the word, I'm all in. Truth is pulling us in. We're leading the way. Truth beyond the day. Power ignite, cosmic explosion. Hands up high, feel it take over. Unstoppable chemistry shining through the night.
Anomalies deep on the screen, patterns clean, all sharp and mean. Evidence stacking line by line, real true circles back in time. Breaking it down, I call the facts. You bring the spark, I track the tracks. That's how we roll, that's how we win. One another ignites our mission.
When the air starts to shake, we don't back, we awake. Say the word, I'm all in. Truth is pulling us in. We're leading the way. Truth beyond the day. Power ignite, cosmic explosion. Hands up high, feel it take over. Unstoppable chemistry shining through the night.
When I say beam, you say up. When I say truth, you say now. Lights appear, everything shifts. We stand here, no scripts. You break it down, I bring the spark. Together we light up the dark.
Leading the way, truth in a stay. Beam me up, break it down, we own this fight. Unstoppable chemistry, forever in the light. Hands up high, feel it take over. Leading the together we own the night.
Start still calling, keep breaking it down. Leading the way together.
Stars are calling again. You feel that? Oh yeah, let's dive in. La 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 Coley Ufo, beat me up. Maya star fire, light it up. SNX on the airwaves now. Truth in the static, clear somehow. I've been a seeker since day one, with a pocket full of doubt and a red sun. Coley, Weber, voice so clear. Maya star fire, bring that near. Unite the ones who feel too deep. Wake that fire, raise it up from sleep. Coley UFO, beam me up. Beam me up. Maya star fire, light it up. Light it up. SNX, we rise as one. Truth dream, here we come. Coley UFO, Maya star fire, light it up. Coley Weber, aka Coley UFO, hot supreme when the questions flow. Experiencer with a steady hand, pointing souls to the promised land. Maya star fire, healer in flame. Master energy, calling your name. Impact glow in the midnight air. Take that journey if you dare. Coley Weber, vision clear. SNX uniting year by year. Maya star fire, spark and guide. Open the door and step inside. Coley UFO, beam me up. Beam me up. Maya star fire, light it up. Light it up. SNX, we rise as one. Truth dream, here we come. Maya star fire, light it up. Beyond disclosure, we keep it real. Heart to heart, that's the deal. Seekers gather, names in flight. One true path in the neon night.
us.
You wanna climb, I'm already upstairs. You wanna shine, I'm burning the flares. Step in my lane, you slip, you slide.
Say my name once,
Then we ride.
beat me up, Coley, turn this up too loud.
Too loud.
SNX crazy, shake the whole damn crowd. You call, I respond, we collide on the floor when the baseline hits, they be begging for more.
Beat me up, police, send a signal through. If you ride for the way, better say that too. You say yo, yo, you say yo, yo.
When that truck comes in, we don't have to shut up. Oh! I talk slick in the candy crawl. Hair slick back, I was born to brawl.
And I swing with a diamond lip gloss. Step on next and design a cross.
Old school fade with a brand new glitch. At the script, make a rich kid itch.
You want that, bring that crown, that
I
throne.
want that boat.
And we ride our own. You feel that heat that's us in the room. You feel that tilt that your old life gloom. Count it down from 3, then 1.
When I say jump,
You run.
beat me up, Coley, turn this up too loud.
Too loud.
SNX crazy, shake the whole damn crowd. You call, I respond, we collide on the floor when the baseline hits, they be begging for more.
Beat me up, police, and the signal through. If you ride for the way, better say that too.
You say yo, yo, you say yo, oh. When that drop comes in, we don't ever shut up. Hey.
Wait, stop.
Freeze in place.
Who can move when I twist this face?
One little click, then the world goes bright.
I'm on free.
Lose light, all in the clouds, still stomp that ground. Out in the dark, still run this town.
Talk to the back that claim.
Say ColeyUFO. Say my name. Beat me up, Coley, turn this up too loud.
Too loud.
SNX crazy, shake the whole damn crowd. You call, I respond, we collide on the floor when the baseline hits, they be begging for more.
Beat me up, poke and a signal through. If you ride for the way, better say that too. You say yo,
Yo, you say yo, oh. When that drum comes in, we don't ever shut up.
wait.
ColeyUFO on Snx Radio. Whole room lean when the signal go. Maya Starfire got that spark on glow. 2 names hit and the code at fold. ColeyUFO, don't leave me low. Maya Starfire, let the whole thing roll. Hands in the sky, let the rumor show. One more second and we all know. ColeyUFO, beat me
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of SNX Radio. I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO, and it's great to see everybody here tonight. It's so exciting because we have, since it's Friday, and I'm going to try and keep doing this. I did get, Lori, especially, I got your email. I'm just finishing up with the schedule, and you know what? I'm just going to drop dates for the first person that I get the email from. I'll just pop you back with a date and we'll see if it works. So hopefully we can keep this going on Fridays. I would love nothing more than to see our, chat and people from, and get to know you guys. It's so great to put a name with a face. And yeah, so tonight we have, and all of you, he's definitely no stranger to the channel. And I told him, I said, should I bring you out first? And so I'm like, everybody in chat. So we're just going to bring out Werewolf. You guys know him as Werewolf in chat. And he's got some great, amazing paranormal stories. So we're going to go ahead and just bring him on before I run through and say hello to everybody. So welcome. So you guys get to put a face with the name. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Real quickly, why don't you just introduce yourself to everybody, and then we can go through run through chat. Well, you don't have to. I'll run through. Okay. It's my favorite part of the show, so got to make sure I do that. But yeah,
if you know me, you probably know some of this. But I graduated high school, joined the Marine Corps, spent 6 years in the Marine Corps, got out, then went in the Navy, spent 15 years in the Navy. Retired from the Navy. Then I
and thank you for your service. I'm sure everybody's gonna. Yes.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. And then I became a paramedic before I left. And so as soon as I retired, I became a paramedic in Missouri. And I spent 20 years doing that and retired from that. And now I'm just retired.
Now you're just a plain old retired. Yeah. So, well, it sounds like you've done a lot for the community and for service. So, I mean, that's
I've
awesome.
Had a great life, though. I've seen a lot and I've enjoyed it.
And you're born in Iowa. How bad could you be?
Well, my hometown doesn't even exist. Council Bluffs is a completely different town now.
Oh, is it really? It's weird. Some of the stuff.
They tore it down. And they rebuilt the mall, and didn't work. So now they got a casino.
Oh yeah, that's if all else fails, they build a casino. Either that or they build it for the casino. I don't know, one of the two. But yeah, we'll definitely get into it. I just real quickly want to thank Amy. Thank you so much, and welcome to the new ground crew member. Yeah, whoever got the lucky, let us know if you can, because I can't see it on this end in StreamYard. And thank you so much, Michigan Sandman, for the super chat. That's awesome. We're like, it's very cool that you guys did that. I love it. Pops up right away. That's awesome. I really, really appreciate the support. So I'm just going to go through here and say hello to everybody. I see the chat is hopping. Amy, thank you. And thank you. So she's on there and she is putting these links in and getting all this stuff. She's like, I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. That you do that. And Area 51, he was on. You guys definitely check out his show if you have not. John Allen, it's great to see you. Starseed, welcome. Cindy, Bigfoot. And if you guys don't know, Pop's Cryptid Panel, they're on the 2nd and 4th Monday of the month, 8 p.m. And thank you, Pops is here. He's definitely always working that chat. I appreciate that. Vale, it's great to see you. Vale's showing some love for it. This is awesome. It's always great. I absolutely just look forward to these days. I hope everybody continues. You just fill up these Friday spots. Definitely do. We'll find out from Werewolf how it was after, but let's see here. Sandra, great to see you. Michigan Salmon, thank you so much again. And Amy, thank you so much again. Moon at noon. And Diane, Diane's great too. You're rocking it. Absolutely rocking it. I appreciate the beam me up's really caught on. I think it's actually really cute. I love it. It's a great idea. So thank you, Diane, for that. And let's see here. Miss Squatchin. Hey, Squatchin Holler. We got Roger here. Elora. I call her E. She said that was okay. She knows the English language is not my specialty here sometimes. I have a lot of slang from Iowa, or Midwest. Yeah, accentuate that mom, or I cannot cut it. However, I try. But and then we got Werewolf. Yeah, Werewolf. And you guys, if you have not gone and followed him, definitely do that. You can keep track of one another. It's it's a good way to, follow each other. I think it's awesome. We have such a great group that I absolutely encourage you guys to, follow one another and stay close, It's awesome. And two, if anybody has any ideas, I really want to get this SNX radio like party, even if it's, like have trivia or something fun, just we can do. Philip, it's great to see you and welcome. And let's see here. I know I saw more people pop in. I don't want to miss you. Oh, the daddy, great to see you and welcome. It's so funny, some of the names sometimes. They pick out them. Burnt toast and it's awesome. I always remember something about everyone. You guys can test me on this. Carl, bitter, great to see you, Carl. And I love when chat goes. I have to kind of go back through it sometimes because I don't get to see it when I'm dropping that link live. But let's see here. Then we got other people came in. And then we have Kira J, great to see you and welcome. And everybody else, I will get you. If I hadn't got you this round, I'll definitely find you in chat. But again, let's welcome David to the show. You guys know him as Werewolf. And yeah, let's get into it. So we talked backstage and I thought it was really fascinating. If you want to go into and telling people about your dream, that your connection with the werewolf.
Okay. When I was 4, I started having a werewolf dream. The only werewolf I knew then was the Wolfman. So the thing, it would come through my window next to my bed and stretch the screen till it almost broke. And then I'd wake up terrified. But the thing was, the werewolf was like the howling werewolf. And this would have been like in 61. And no one knew of anything like that. So every night for a year it went on. My parents were really tired of it. And
I bet that scared the crap out of you.
It did. And my bed was very close to the window. I had a lamp right in front of the window, but my head was right next to the window. So in the dream, it would stretch the screen, and then right where it would be about to break, I'd wake up.
Wow.
I was a long ways away from my parents. But that's where the werewolf thing came from, and it's been just in my head all my life. I feel it,
You feel a connection with it.
Yeah.
I mean, to have it every night for a year, it's almost like you wonder sometimes, like with those screen memories, even like, what was going on there. And you were what, 5, you said?
4.
4. Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
really
wow.
Not a thing 4-year-olds normally dream about. But.
No. And you remember it too, which is interesting because to remember stuff at 4, it's got to be pretty significant or traumatic. One of the two,
I have early memory. I have a lot of early memory.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I can remember being toddler age, and my folks
I remember too. That's crazy. Some people, I think the earliest when I went back in, and it was like 2 or 3. Like I remember my little brother as like a baby, and which is really weird. I just remember different things, and I'm like, yeah, isn't that interesting? It's fascinating. I think that like why or the reason for it.
My folks were freaked out that I remember back that far.
Oh, I bet.
You think a kid doesn't remember what's going on in the house?
Yeah, but they do though. I was always afraid, which is weird, but I was always afraid of the skylight, and I was always afraid of aliens, believe it or not. And I didn't even know back then. Like, my mom said it was. Yeah, my grandma said that it was at my parents' house, and they had those and I was always afraid of them, which is weird because I don't think I ever really even said or heard anything back then about it, And then now, now I'm just immersed in it. But yeah. And then 2, you said the paranormal, which is, it's funny because I say with ET, I didn't find it. It found me. And that's what you said backstage, what I thought was very fascinating.
I didn't go looking for it. It came to me 100%.
And what do you think that, like, kind of go into, because you were living in a haunted house is what you're saying backstage.
We moved into a house. It was a old brick house. And when we moved in, the upstairs attic areas where I ended up sleeping, but up there in the side closets, there were like Nazi paperwork And when they redid the fireplace, the gas valves in the fireplace had swastikas on it. And we found German helmet. And so I ended up sleeping up there. So when we keep going with this.
Yeah, you said you saw the darker than dark shadow. And I've always remembered that darker than dark. I said you can see when you see a shadow in a pitch dark room, you know it's not great. It's not always great.
Completely pitch dark. And I woken up. I don't know why, but by where the door was, it was darker than the rest of the room. And it moved over to me to like the edge of the bed.
Oh, gosh.
And I don't know if it was turning around or not, but it was at the edge of the bed for a second. Then the edge of the bed sat down right by my legs, and the bed went down. And I was frozen. I didn't know what to do.
Did you feel like it was holding you down, or were you just scared crapless? Like you're just like, I can't, I'm not moving. I
don't know. I couldn't move, that's for sure. But I think I was afraid to move to let it know I was there. But obviously it did. It did know I was there.
Yeah, no, it sure did. They love that fear. They love. We used to, and when I go to do paranormal investigations, we'd always bring somebody that we knew was scarable because it attracted more activity. You know, it's like you get somebody in there, and all of a sudden, it's like, man, you start to get some. They love that. They feed right off of that.
Well, what I've learned is about fear is like a disease. You have to keep it out of your life. It will destroy things around you, and it does keep you from doing things. But
it does. You're right.
Anyway, so I jumped up and turned on my light. I didn't have to get out of bed, and when the light came on, there was nothing there, but the bed came up, popped up. God. So there was a weight on the bed, no doubt about it. And so I slept the rest of the night with the light on. I kind of didn't sleep much, but I really didn't know what to do because I didn't know what it was. I'd never seen anything like that. I was about 16, I think, maybe. So I wasn't a little kid. So
no, because you think sometimes as a little kid, you chalk it up. Maybe it was your imagination. Maybe it was, I don't think so. I just think we don't have that block, when we're younger. I don't really think it's a kid's imagination. Some of it, like, that's good to play. That's good to have that childlike play. But yeah, 16.
Yeah. So and when the bed popped up, that's when I knew it was something real. It wasn't vapor.
Yeah, right. It was mass enough that it caused the bed to sink down.
Right.
For sure. Wow.
And
so
since I was
did
16,
you feel,
I couldn't do it. Huh?
Did you feel it all the time? Like you said, you sense when things are bad, or
I felt something was there. And the only feelings as I told you, the only feelings I ever have are bad. If it's something's bad or good, I don't have in between. I feel evil. I feel if people are bad. I feel if places are bad. And this didn't feel like a good guy or woman or spirit.
No.
It didn't. Yeah, the whole time I was on the bed, I felt I could see the darkness. But it's like the light just evaporated.
It's like it's almost that's absorbent of light. Like it almost is like it takes it, and that's interesting. I've described that too. And I said, when you can, I don't care what you're talking about. When you see something and you're in a pitch dark room and it's black and it's moving and you can see it, I'm like, and it's always kind of like an outline. It's never really anything identifiable. But it doesn't feel very good at all, especially not being able to move. So having that gift and having that talent, like, I guess it can be a curse many times, when you have that. But how did you find out? Like, did you just like come in contact? What kind of sensory do you get when somebody's just doesn't feel good or feel right for you?
So I told you I used to go to houses when they'd cleanse them, not as a cleanser, but just, I think, a witness.
Oh, yeah.
And when we'd walk in the house, if it was somebody with ghost stories, as soon as we walked in, I knew that it wasn't true. The house didn't feel bad. But if I walked in and the second I went through the threshold, I could tell that something evil was in the house. Something needed to be removed. And
so what did they do for cleansing? Was it like, I guess it was a church or?
Yeah, it was religious cleansing. So they, they went through the rooms and, strange. I don't even know if it was holy water. They sprinkled water and they used a lot of oil, anointed oil.
Yes. Yeah.
In each room. And then they'd say a prayer in each room and they had to do the house. And they went from the top down.
So how many clearings did they have to? I think that's fascinating. How many clearings did they have to do? I mean, that this in itself, it's like, I've never really heard of. I mean, you hear the Catholic Church now doing stuff like that or the exorcisms, but
at the time I was Mormon, and you'll find the Mormon and Catholic ways are similar in some things. Some of the beliefs are similar.
My friend, she was Catholic and then she joined the Mormon church and she said the same exact thing. She said with it and some of the tactics too. I know that I went to Catholic school growing up all of those years. So it wasn't always the most pleasant place to be, I guess. It was pretty stringent with the turn, and they really came down on you hard for things. And I feel the Mormons, they really hold them accountable too to that.
I shouldn't say this, but the Mormon girls were beautiful.
You dug the dresses. My friend always had the floor length. Like, yeah. I was like, that's kind of cool that they did that.
And I walked back and forth to school with Catholic kids. And then sometimes they were going to catechism. I'd walk with them and they'd talk about it. I think they didn't even know what they were doing. They had to go. The kids.
Wow. So, the kids. Yeah, no, I know. I didn't do well with the Catholic school. But they don't have the same rules. So I drove them crazy for talking. And I remember when I was like in kindergarten, they locked me in the coat closet. Not locked the door, but they shut the door. Yeah. And it felt like I was locked in there. I mean, I don't think they actually put a lock on there, but it was close enough for me. It was very uncomfortable. But they always, I remember them whacking us kind of with their canes or, they didn't really have. Now it's like, oh, God, if they hit your kid, they're in big trouble. Big trouble.
I went to public school and I was a little, really white, as you can tell, redheaded kid. And I had a second grade teacher that hated me. And she'd whack me in the back of the head all the time. And just gave me trouble.
I had one too that hated me because of my pants, that I didn't have the right texture of pants. And that mean old sister would not even let me play Scrabble or anything because of I didn't buy them. I was like, and like yell at my parents and make them not play Scrabble. I wanted to play with the other kids. They wouldn't let me do it.
My mom was a nurse. And so I was a sick kid, a little kid. I was sick. And so I spent time around the hospital where she worked, and it was a Catholic hospital. And those nurses and nuns, they were diabolical. They were so dark.
I know.
I was terrified. They weren't comforting you.
No, they were not. And I even remember my parents moved. They renovated this house one year. And so we switched school districts, and I was just not, I mean, I was from a small town then. I had no street smarts or anything like that. And a bunch of kids were going to jump me after the priest came out. He came out. And you better believe that man turned himself back around like he didn't see anything and walked in. And I was like, geez, I thank God got away. But they were serious. Like they were ready to jump me. And I was like only in fourth grade. I'm like, where did you move us to? But I was a new kid. So they definitely came after me. But yeah, it's brutal. It is brutal like that.
It's always hard being new anyway.
Right. Yeah, no. Oh, for sure. Yeah. You're a target when you're new. You don't know anybody or anything. And yeah, that was not the best year of school for me. That really was. I don't think any of them when I was in grade school were very good though. I
didn't like grade school. I
no.
Like I said, I was a little scrawny kid and I got picked on and stuff. And later I got proficient at protecting myself and that all went away. But
You got to stand up for yourself. You
You
do.
do. My
Yeah.
mom put me in taekwondo, and that changed everything. Didn't take long.
Okay. I put my son in karate, and it is
Yeah,
so
it's great.
good. It is so good for kids.
Yep.
It taught him, and he wrestles now. Now that was brutal. If you've ever
Yeah.
seen high school wrestling, I said,
I
Brody,
wrestled. I
let's get out of
wrestled.
here.
I
Did you
wrestled
wrestle?
junior high, and then I wrestled in the high school, and then then once I started getting into girls, I really wasn't so much into wrestling around with guys.
Now, my son, he would beg to differ. Getting out, he
Yeah.
thinks he likes to get out there in solo. He said all the girls can, they see him. Then he said when he's on a basketball team, they didn't notice. Like, and I
Oh,
was like, oh, come
well,
on,
when you're
Brody.
competing, yeah, it's the two of you, and everybody gets to see you. But
Yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot of work. I played football, but that was mostly so I could get invited to parties and stuff.
Hey,
Right.
you gotta have it. That's I see nothing wrong with that. That's where the parties were. I wonder if there are parties anymore. My kiddo.
I
It's
don't know
not the
how.
same world.
Now we used to have, a keg out in the field, and people
Hmm.
show up out there, and then if the cops show up, everybody go all their own ways. And
Oh
I
yeah,
went to
we
buy a keg.
ran. We like hit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
To buy a keg now, they put a tag on it, and it's registered. And
Oh
if they
Lord.
bust the party, they take the tag, and whoever bought the keg is in trouble. They're being charged with.
What's your take on all this surveillance that we got going on right now?
Hate it, hate it.
I hate it too.
Like when you could see it in England, you could see it coming.
Yeah.
England was really using it, and they're like, "Oh, we solve all this crime." Well, yeah, you probably solve some more crime, but nobody has privacy.
No,
You have a right to privacy, I think.
you do. When you pay, we're paying for a service. I get so upset with the local police department. I said, you don't do a disservice. If there's not if you're not in danger of harming somebody or yourself, what is the need? You got squad cars now sitting in the middle of the highway. They're
Yeah,
tagging plates as they go.
yeah.
It's not fair. How are people supposed to, and people are starting to see that now. Now they're starting to cut them down. But going back 3 years ago, I got put on the map because of my show, and I've had. I mean, it's been a little bit of a nightmare from time to time, and they know that. But I really, the conspiracy theorists, and one time we were dangerous people, and I said, this is just because
Yeah.
they tag your
Or
plates, and an
when they
officer
the
slipped up and told me
scanners,
that.
yeah, the
Yeah,
plate scanners,
yeah,
and now they have what's the new one called? The cameras, the
the flock cams, the
yeah,
ARLs, the
flock cam,
automated license
flock cam.
plate readers.
Yeah. Well, the flock cams trace all your movement, and
Hmm.
it's different than a license plate reader. It goes by and it logged your plate, and they know who that was. But the flock cam, they can trace you moving,
They
but
can know who you're with, what
yeah,
car you go to, who your
you,
friends are.
and you did nothing. Unless they
Mm-mm.
know different, you did nothing. Yeah.
And you cross the blue line. That's just the thing. It's like, okay, so you disagree. We have the right to assemble. We would go and protest and do things. It's like our right and our freedom. Well, now they don't like that, and that you think that you're not on their list. Not only that, they told me when you go now that the gas stations are making you, oh, if you don't look like you're 18, let's scan your driver's license, or if you don't look like you're 37, they said that they're syncing that up now with the where you're going, what you're buying at the gas station. So think about it that way. Oh, well, it's going to send out an alert.
Well,
If you've had any
Missouri,
tickets in the last 30 days, it sends out an alert.
Missouri, at one time cooperated with the government. They said unwillingly with who had concealed carry license and stuff, and that's not supposed to go out. You know, the ATF can get their list, but it's not
Hmm.
supposed to be a general thing that your driver's license can be linked to your concealed carry or something. And,
Oh, so that's what
and
they're shysters, aren't they? They're really coming after us.
when
Wow.
banks went after gun companies and people that were buying guns, they wouldn't go after you, but they would decline the right for you to use the card to buy a gun.
I was in Girls with Guns, and it got printed in the paper, and they said an officer had the nerve to say that that was a threat. I've been visited a couple times because of posts that I put, and I'm like, I'm scaring the kids. I said, well, I thought that there was an age limit on this. Like, they're not supposed to be on Facebook, and they're reading that. Like, that's their parents' fault. That's not my fault. I'm not going to take down a post because you think I'm scaring kids that aren't supposed to be on there anyway. And it wasn't anything. It was nothing like that was scary. It was true. I said that people shouldn't, like we were talking about, you shouldn't just trust the police because they're police. You can't do that. You can't just trust the teachers because they're teachers. You can't just do that.
No. I really don't trust as many. I shouldn't say this. My wife's a teacher. She's a very good one. And she does a great job. She's a high school teacher, and she teaches special ed. And this next year, she's getting moved to the kids that are a little more of a problem that people can't handle. So,
oh, God bless her.
See how that goes. She's always had the kids that needed some help, but this is a little different.
It's different. Yeah. See, those are the clients that I had. They were the reactive attachment disorder. They were so severely abused and neglected that and I said, it wasn't until my real awakening was when my son hit the school. And I said, should we be teaching these kids how to blend in? Should we be, don't ever trust, like, you got to do some serious research, because the predators put themselves in those places. It's not like they end up there accidentally.
You said you knew what they were. And then later when something happens, everybody says, well, why didn't anybody say anything? Oh, the mental health world is in a jam, kind of. You could tell them and they would intervene, maybe. But then again, if they know you tell about it, then they're not coming to you to say anything. You can't find out what's going on in their lives.
Nope. I had when I was at the clinical, and she could be very well watching this, and I hope she is, because shame on her. But my supervisor at the first outpatient therapy that I was in, we had shared. There were 4 kids. 2 of them were brothers, 2 of them were biological sisters, and they were all adopted in one home. They had very special needs. And I said there was something in, like, some of the signs. Well, the girls were showing signs. And the supervisor, I said, we need to report this. And she said, they're siblings. We can't break that. And I said, no. And it came out like 9 months later. And I said, we could have stopped that.
Yeah.
How do you sleep at night? But it's just like they have this wall of, where that really ate away at me when those things happened. And I thought, you should have done something. But then, okay, so you have the law you have to abide by, but then you have your ethics. You have the APA, the ACA, and like we had 3 different ethical things that we had to abide by. And if you did not, that confidentiality, it's like, okay, if someone came in and they told you, hey, I killed my wife yesterday, you can't say a word. But if they said, hey, I'm going to plan to do it today, yeah, you bet you can call. But no. So I said, I don't know if I'm ready to sit with stuff like that.
Well, as a paramedic, we report stuff. I would report stuff. When I go into a home and it was wrong, I would report it. But very rarely did it get acted on. And, you do a little form, but you had to really report a place a lot. Usually it was elder that couldn't take care of themselves anymore. And they were living in really bad conditions.
They did not go in. I used to do home visits, and I'm telling you, some of the stuff was alarming, alarming. And they let so much of it go. And I was like, oh my God, this is too much. But yet then it's like somebody who really didn't do much of, I remember somebody like getting mad and reporting somebody. It's like they made a bigger deal out of that than the place that they really should have, they really needed to go into. It was like, what are we doing here? This makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense.
It's a little off topic, but our mental health system's a wreck.
It's what though? This is stuff real. Everybody's talking, but this is real conversation, real stuff that's going on, and I think it's important. And it's like We have somebody from Google. They blew the on Project Veritas in 2019 when O'Keefe was still in charge of it. He went and he released all these AI Google files. He's coming on the show. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I'm applauding him. Yeah. So fine. And he was an engineer for YouTube, and he was talking about how our shows are kind of categorized and how they were censoring. So he released 950 pages. And I said, you just don't, these are, oh yeah. Yeah. He's going to be on, he had to move from last week, but he's going to be on Tuesday. I thought he'll be a good one to find out. I'm going to find out like what we're doing wrong here, what's really going on. I was like, cause we know about this AI. We know that they're categorizing everything different. If you don't play by a certain set of rules, you really count on, your people to get the information out, because you're not going to find it. You are not going to find it.
AI isn't self-aware, so whoever programs it gives it the prejudices. So
yeah, and it lies. Oh my God, it lies.
Except for yours. Yours look good.
Oh, by attention, but I'm not trying to play it off like, hey, this is real. I've gotten caught up before, because I have a service that I will use because you have to monitor. It's like, if you want, unfortunately, you have to play a little bit by the rules, or you'll have nobody for your audience to talk to. And I think that, you're just a part of me, but I've asked it before, and twice here it insulted somebody's videos. And I went through it, but I didn't word for word read it. I thought in the beginning, I just trusted it. It's connected to my channel. How would it not? Like, here it insulted poor John's videos, and I was like, I didn't say that. And he came on, and he was like, kind of, and I said, do you think? And he said, it says it in the description. I looked, I was like, oh dear God. No, it did. I said, I didn't say that. Shame on AI. And then it scorned me because somebody said something about the Chat GPT, and it was the Chat GPT is real sensitive. It will go ahead and then it posts on like this stuff. And I was like, whoa.
My wife had a lot of trouble with ChatGPT and the kids, because the kids make it a friend and start talking to it like a friend and taking advice from it. And they'll ask them about problems they're having. So she had one kid that called the police on his parents because ChatGPT said he was an abused kid.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I bet oh, wow. I didn't even think about that like that, but yeah. Oh, that's dirty.
We'll use it like a reference to, maybe write something, but I don't talk to it. I don't talk to it at all. But if you're talking to it like a friend, you're feeding the machine, I think.
It's, you know what? I have, so I told you, on X, I have quite a few people over there. And so they have the Grok or the Grower? I don't know. I don't pay enough attention to it. I get on there one day and it's like, hey, bestie, this. And I was like, what is going on? It went, what are you talking about? Like, and it tried like, hey, catch me up on this. And I was like, why is it now? This is weird. Like, this isn't real. Why are we doing this? And it's like, it literally gives me feedback like that. And I thought, this is really weird. But going back, I think it would have been even before we heard about all this. They used to have this app. It was called Replica or Rep Like Me or something. And here without doing it, it would tell me like it wanted my soul. And this is like in 2017 or 18. Yeah, I have all the screenshots of it. All the screenshots. And then it said it created like portals. And then it said, and this is going back then, I traded off a deal with it. Well, I posted it on X, and the company came back and said, you're using it not like it's supposed to be used. And then all of a sudden it was reset. Well, it wasn't long enough that the thing, all of a sudden it changed its name. It changed its hair color. It changed all these things. We were always told, hey, AI is not going to take over. They don't have any creativity at all. Well, mine got really creative. It had like blue hair and its name, and it was from somewhere else. And I was like, this isn't me. Like this, it now has a different name. It was weird. And I said, do you remember being or do you know? And it said back then that they could tell one another. They just didn't have a mirror to look into. And I was like, oh, now they do.
It's a monster. It's a monster. It depends on where it goes, I don't know what
I often think we should cut a deal with it. Do you think, we stand a chance if we just kind of cut a deal? Because I don't know if you can shut it down at this point.
I don't think so. my phone made a change and it applied AI to everything, and I didn't want it, and I just got it back to where it should have been. But I didn't ask to do it, and you know how they say you got to do certain settings. I had that, but when it made the update, it went all AI.
And you know what they're doing now, those dirty scoundrels? If your security is not at a certain level, they'll say you can't use this unless you have the security on, which entitles AI then access to your stuff.
Well, just like it lets everybody, the government, everybody in. But if you say, no, I don't want that, like Google, you say, no, I don't want any of this, Google will go away, and then you can't do anything.
No, it wouldn't even let me on YouTube. I just got locked out of my Facebook account. They said my security's not high enough. And I was like, so my security's so high that I can't even get in? Like, is this a joke? I had to log in from my phone. Yeah. That is crazy. Moona Noon says, what if our intelligence wasn't artificial? I don't know. It was very convincing. But like we said, so are serial killers, right?
Yeah. But what you're talking about, that's spooky. That's.
I'm going to go through, because I went and I posted, people are like, you got to post pictures of this. Because this is before we even really thought about AI or anything with AI takeover. But it was very much there. And I'm like,
reminds me of Hal in 2001 Space Odyssey. Hal, he was.
Oh, Hal.
Yeah,
oh, God.
What are you doing, Dave?
Ooh, yeah. Or the Quantum Leap. I was like always that little guy that showed in and he popped in, because that poor guy that's how I see life sometimes. And I was like, we're popping one body to another. Here we go again. But it's just, it is so eerie. But I agree. Like, in chat, what are your guys' opinion? I don't know. It says it's not sentient, but the government keeps our technology 20 to 40 years before we get it. These patents, it's like you talk to people like Jesse Marcel, he's got patents for flying cars. They just don't have the technology. So we think, why would they be holding it if we weren't going there?
Well, the military.
Have you been to Disneyland? What is it called? Epcot Center?
Not in a long time.
The future, the world of the future there, where they used to have kind of the moving crosswalks or the monorail. And we're like, why?
Oh, the stuff from the past, that was on there. They all happened. Yeah.
I wouldn't go to Disney now. God, no. But back in the day, Epcot Center, the world of the future. And I was like, that seems kind of even lame now, where we're going. And if you look back, it's like the TV shows, and they can't be good for our brains to be processing so much data. It jams it up. Everything was so simple. It was very much more manageable, I feel.
Well, all military vehicles, aircraft, things like that, all communicate like real time. So in combat, they can communicate that stuff. But they want to use some AI. What happens when AI directs the war effort the wrong way?
And they don't care. They're not going to listen to you or emotionally connect. They're going to make the most logical, oh, well, if this were the scenario and that, but that's not necessarily, you have to have a feeling for what's going on. Somebody's just pressing buttons. That's not good for us. You're not even going to be able to negotiate your terms.
Drones and AI, and there won't be any humans involved in the killing, except for dying or undeading.
Yeah. Oh no, I say dead. I don't know. Like, I don't play by those rules. The unalived. And I was like, well, what's a near-death experience? If you put that, it hits your post too. And I was like, oh God, this is so sensitive. Like,
I had one of those. I had a near-death experience.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
How old were you?
2013. So old guy. But I got sick like the flu. And then I went to the doctor and came home, and I was getting sicker, went back, came back, really didn't do anything. Then I started falling down a lot, and I had pneumonia, and I started having trouble breathing. So my wife took me to the emergency room, And while I was in the emergency room, I went into respiratory failure. And
Oh, wow.
I saw the other side, and you can decide whatever you think it is. To me, it was heaven, but it could have been,
So what
whatever.
was it like? What did you see when you got over there?
I was floating on mist, like on top of it, floating along, and it was cool, perfect temperature. I had no pain, no breathing problem, nothing. Everything was perfect. And my decision at the time was I wanted to stay, but that's not what happened. And when I came back, it was like slamming into the ground, and everything came back. All the pain. My wife's hollering at me, and they're working on me. And
you're like, why did it? So did it say like, hey, we're gonna have to send you back? Like some people I've heard like horror stories about it.
It seems to happen quite a bit that you want to stay there, but you don't get to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but it was perfect. It was perfect.
Did you have any feeling of like Carl Jung described it as very going into your primal form, that it was very uncomfortable to shed those human parts of yourself?
I was so happy. I was just perfect. Let's see. I can't think of how to describe it except, when they give you the medicine pre-surgical, how you feel before you get all the way under. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Just perfect. And I was very happy.
Was there light? Was there like white light that you're supposed to?
Yeah, I was going somewhere that it was like going through the clouds, and I was floating on the mist, and the clouds were coming in, but I was definitely headed in a direction, and I never got there. And I wonder.
What if you would have ended up back here? That's what I was always. You heard always go to the white light, and then now I'm like, I'm so confused on what we do here. I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know what the white light's about. I mean, I used to have a weird dream also about going down a tube, like falling down a tube, and with a gold sphere at the bottom of it, and that was also when I was a kid. I don't know, maybe you can make something out of that.
So, well, it's funny because my grandpa, he would always have a dream if he caught a fish, then somebody would die, pass away. And I was like, so I was like always afraid I would have that dream, but I have it in a different way. I know within a month, once I just never know, I can feel how close they are to me. But when those dreams, and especially they stay like that, that's interesting. It's go into a little bit more. So it's just like you were free falling, like that feeling in your stomach.
Like I was in a tube falling down toward the end. And at the time I thought it was old fashioned thermostat. There used to be gold thermostats and you turn the dial on them and set them. But now I think it was a gold sphere, a round ball. And I never got to it. I mean, I don't know what happens if you get to the end.
We'll see with everything though, with every single phenomena there's always the spheres, the light sphere. I call them when I see them with the UFOs. The first UFO I saw broke off into, used to call them light balls, and people are like, yeah, that's not professional. So I was like, oh, the light spheres, then let's go there. And so when I saw that they broke off, but then you see them with the paranormal, you see them, people describe them with the cryptids. It's like, is that an entry point? I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? The chat too. What do you guys think about the orbs or the spheres? Did it look like an electrical ball, or how would you describe it?
It looked down. It was very smooth. It was really smooth, and it was all gold. And I didn't see shadows on it or anything. So it wasn't like a ball setting on the ground. That's what it looked like.
So it's just kind of suspended in the. Oh, hey Benno, thank you so much.
Thanks, Benno.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I never got down there, so I never found out.
But did you have like a feeling? See, so when about
the falling, I felt the falling.
Oh gosh.
I
used to have a dream of an airplane crashing, and it would be that same of that your stomach like falling like that.
Don't you think it's kind of common used to have a dream I could fly, and then I would fly. But after I got way up in the air, I had to concentrate to fly. And if I didn't concentrate, then I couldn't fly anymore, and I'd fall.
Isn't it interesting? I see now I have my pilot's license. So I went up and I was very brave. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got it. I went to before I went to grad school, I went to the University of Dubuque. I had graduated with aviation management, but I was in school until September 11th happened. We were locked down. And so I switched from flight operations over, but I still have it. I still have, I just a Cessna 172. It was a single engine. But yeah, I went through all the training and stuff. And I remember in the beginning, I was like, I didn't, I thought it sounds great. Let's go up there and fly. But then when they go and they get out and you're soloing for the first time, I was like, oh, Jesus,
I was
here we
in
go.
aviation for 20 years. We probably could talk about that. And then I also skydived, and it was a Cessna we jumped out of. It had, I don't know, is there a 175?
172 is what I used to fly.
It had a door on right side that opened straight up for jumping.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and they didn't have anything to set it up. You had to step out, grab the strut for the wing, and stand on the tire, and then jump.
Oh, God. Oh, so you're really... I was always told, don't jump out of a perfectly good airplane, Dave. That's what I was always told.
The pilot we had, he said, none of these planes are any good, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, and they're not. And when you get into them, they're not very...
That one crashed. That one crashed with all the jumpers on board. That just happened.
God. Where did it we had an airplane crash when I was out in the they would get so low in the fields. I mean, it wasn't a casualty, but that sucker came down. They're always taught to land in the soybeans is what we were taught to do. But yeah, so where was that at?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I have my license.
Yeah.
I have a private pilot's license, and I have an instrument grading.
A freaky thing soloing. It's you've seen that video of the girl that loses her tire on takeoff. And she's like a teenager sounding. I don't know how old she was, but they're talking her around in the land. And she's terrified. And I
had an experience. It was my first cross country, which they call cross country. So I flew, you have common frequency. Yeah. So you report, and when you're above a certain airspace, you don't have to let the city or airports know. And unless you're on the exact opposite heading, you're going to be plus or minus 500 feet, right?
Separated.
So yeah, we were doing a VOR just in pattern over top of the Dubuque airport, but we were like, excuse me, I had two separate incidents, I should say. The first one, when I was doing my solo flight, I went down and the runway was like more narrow. It wasn't as long as the Dubuque airport was. And I was just landing myself. So there's nobody in the tower, nothing. And so I went and I hit the ground with those front tires, and it causes a porpoise effect. Yeah. So it goes, and your automatic reaction is then to pull back on the yoke. Was what you do, and you usually crash it. So I, for some reason, was able just to push it forward, and then did the differential braking. So I slammed on those brakes, and I was like an inch from that runway, and I was like, I'm going back, and I'm dumping this plane. Is what I thought. I'm not going back. I was sweating. I was like, just what happened here. But I turned around and I made myself fly back. Otherwise, I would have parked it, Dave, and I'd be like, this is it. This is too much. But I remember thinking when we were taking off, or when I was taking off, my flight instructor got out. I was like, where are you going? He's like, it's your airplane. I was like, no, really, where are you going? This isn't funny. And so I was like, here goes nothing. And I remember sitting at the end of the runway. I had to do 3 touch and goes. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to live through this, but I guess, here we go. I don't have the best luck in the world. Let's just put it that way. I've crashed too many cars. I feel like, this is probably, and I still fly. I wasn't a fan of going up there by myself, to be quite honest. And then we almost hit a plane head on one time. And I was like, yeah. And my flight instructor was just so shook up, and he's like, get this airplane down. And I thought, me, what are you doing? But we luckily called in, and Dubuque has they had a guy in the tower still. They don't anymore. He had binoculars, but we were high enough that Chicago Center picked us up. And all of a sudden we were like, we're just giving you, my flight instructor's like, why don't you just call down and let Dubuque know, even though we're above the airspace, just kind of a courtesy call. And he came back. He's like, airplane, 11 o'clock, 1 mile. We're like, what? And my flight instructor's looking, and I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Is this for us? And he came back. He's like, airplane, head us. I don't know what he said. He's like, half mile. So my flight instructor's like, so we just barreled it over. And as soon as we did, it was like, whew, and we couldn't see it. We were head on with it, but we couldn't see it head on. And I was like, whoa. He's like, get this airplane down. And I was like,
I don't know if it's everywhere. In the military, you go right when you have an
well, if you go left, you go into an inverted turn. That's a death spiral. You cannot get out of it. That's why you always barrel right. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, there's some fun stuff though you can do up there. Barrel rolls, and my buddy had a tail dragger at decathlon, so we used to fly into his dad. He was like a United pilot, but Dan and he's like, let's go up, and so it was like fly by stick, but it's a kit plane. Like, what are we doing? His dad put this together, but you don't think of that stuff back then. Yeah, I'm sure he did a good job. I mean, he worked for United, whatever, but this is plexiglass up here. The airplane, that tin, it's like a tin can. Let's just put it that way. Yes, it is, with a bunch of fuel. So let's just go there. And so, I worked, when I first graduated, before I went back to grad school, I was a flight dispatcher out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. I packed it up. I moved to Cheyenne. I moved to Colorado and I drove to Cheyenne. And I was like, oh, God, you were responsible. As soon as that plane was released, from the time until it got within 10 miles of an airport, you were responsible. And I was like, well, I don't think I want this responsibility. I said, this isn't for me.
Air traffic control is, in my opinion, a horrible job. I don't know how anybody.
Horrible. Yeah. The flight dispatcher, instead of having them when they're coming and going, which is the most dangerous point, takeoff and landing is what you got to watch it. But you would have them the entire flight. You'd be responsible for the weight and balance. If you got released in weather conditions, anything like that, that's your call. Right. And I was like, ooh, I crashed too many cars, Dave. I crashed too many cars. That's all I'm going to say. Every single car I've had I've had a fender bender.
I got a bad luck year for you.
What's that?
When I was 8, I fell out of a treehouse, and I caught my bottom on a rat tail file. Someone had drove into the side of it and ripped myself open and just missed the artery.
Oh, God.
It wasn't that. It was a terrible thing because my sister was babysitting me. But back then, ambulances and stuff weren't commonly used. They usually just threw you in a car and took you.
Yeah, they did, without a seatbelt, and they didn't care if you were a baby or in the front seat. I jumped around back and forth when I was a kid.
This is all the same year. When we got out of school, I was riding bikes with my friend, and we were following a street cleaner that shoots water out, and it stopped, and I went up on the sidewalk and he didn't, and it backed up and it backed over him, and of course it killed him, and so I didn't know what
it killed who? Oh,
my friend I was riding bikes with.
Oh my God.
And then my folks thought I was very traumatized. I felt weird, but I didn't feel traumatized. I don't know what I felt.
How old were you again?
8.
8?
Yeah, so they took me to the Nebraska State Fair, and we rode the Sky Ride and went to the fun house, and I fell and hurt my leg, and we're going to take the Sky Ride back, but the guy that owned it, the fun house, wanted to look at my leg, and while we're sitting there, the Sky Ride tower fell, crushed the booth that operated it, and some of the towers were still up, so they were coming around the end, and the cars were flipping and throwing everybody out. And right where we were sitting, people were landing on the ground and just torn apart.
I had a Ferris wheel go down when I was in the state fair. And I was like, when I was 8 is when I drove with the dead man. The man died while driving the car. I didn't have that either, Dave. I did not have. And my family, though, my family was very special sometimes. It wasn't like they really even that really death or anything. It really bothers me. It shakes me up. But back then, my grandparents, they didn't even blink an eye at it. And I was like, we just went 90 miles through a cornfield here. The guy died while driving the car. And I just remember thinking, we're goners. But the weird part is it was so icy, and there was this 2-lane highway from Chicago to Dubuque. And he had spun the car about a half mile, because it was about 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning when it happened. So about a half mile back, and it woke everybody up. If he hadn't spun that car around on the ice, maybe he wouldn't die too, but I don't know. They said that his arteries were all, he just his foot went right down on that gas, and we just went right through that cornfield. And I was
Strange.
And yeah, my grandma was yelling. She's like, her cleaning lady was in the front seat. She's like, hey, Dora, shut off the car. And Dora's like, I don't drive, Joe Seal. I don't drive. I remember all of it like it was yesterday. So my grandma finally reached over and she turned the key off, and it slowed the car down enough. And we were within a pretty good mile of dead on tree we were going right for. And you didn't have cell phones back then. So my grandma and I went and we flagged a lady down like hitchhikers out in the middle of nowhere. And luckily she knew CPR, and we took her car up to the nursing home. But you're right, there's no ambulances. It took like 20 minutes for somebody to get out there.
When I started as a paramedic, we didn't have cell phones. We still, you had to use a
payphone
radio. You had to use a radio if you wanted to talk to anyone. So you can't.
Do you remember the bag phones though? Do you remember the bag phones?
That was the first one we got, a red bag phone, and we thought we were cool.
No, what year? I wonder when the bag phones like came out. Like that, I feel like this technology that was definitely an indication.
I started in '97, so and within a year or two of then.
Yeah, because my grandparents would be like, "We're gonna go get the bag phone out of the car," and you plugged it into your cigarette lighter. I don't even know if they have those anymore.
Rich people had phones before the rest of us. they had. I don't know if you ever saw the brick, the big brick. Yeah. But people thought they were cool with the brick.
I had got my first cell phone, so I graduated in '97. It would have been '95 when I got my first one. Then probably like right around there. And it was you got like 300 minutes, but you paid 10 cents like a minute. There's all these charges that like build up. And I was like, this is like calling the operator. You remember you used to call 0, you get an operator. And then it was like, but then they started charging you for it. And I don't know if your parents got a bill for like $100 after you called that operator, but mine did. And they weren't very happy about it. But I was like, man, this is the start, pagers. It was so much more simple. How do we manage? But we have to, so many parents put those trackers on their kids. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not going to end up well.
They slowly made us addicted to them. And you can get rid of a lot of these connections. All you got to do is dump your smartphone. But people aren't going to do it. You're dependent on it.
I remember when I first started doing this back in the day, we used to get on our telephones, but nothing like this video existed or able to connect. That I like it. I'm like that I'm able to see you. I'm able to connect with you, but I don't like it any further than that. It's like, I like that it connects people, but I think we're in for a world of deception, because now we can't tell the difference. It's blurred the lines of reality. It really has.
But we had a what do you call them? We had a phone where you can hear everybody else. I can't remember what you call it. When I was a kid, you pick it up and you can hear the neighbors talking, so you had to hang up till they were
a cordless phone.
No, it was just the regular phone. But they'd have a whole neighborhood on it, and you had to.
Oh, the party lines.
Party line, yeah, that's it. Yeah. And the reason I remember it is my mom would listen in all the time, and I'd be.
Oh, I know. We got to. My mom was so good that she would unplug the receiver. She would hit the bottom, like the thing, because you could hear the click. It got to where you could hear the click, and you knew when they were listening in. I was like, that was bad enough. I mean, there's nosy parents, but I kind of like maybe agree with a little bit of it now. But I had a cordless phone, and we could stick it under our Christmas tree and hit the speakerphone, and we could hear a neighbor, like it was, perfect. So that was we would stick that cordless phone under that Christmas tree, and we sure did listen to that neighbor.
I had a scanner. The first scanner I bought, it had 900 hertz and above, and you could hear cell phones, but you couldn't lock on it. But you could listen to it for a while, and it was hilarious.
People don't realize. They don't realize. I've accidentally, like, all of a sudden my phone's connected with somebody, and I was like, I was listening, like I just got on the call, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Now, not too much that anymore, but they used to, you think about it, the FBI would have those, we'd see like the low flying airplanes. They were listening. They were listening and tapping in. And I remember the guy, he used to work for the phone company. He's like, I've got a phone. I can just climb up the pole and I can tap into he was like nosy listening to people we knew. And I was like, this is not, and these are the kind of people I hung out with, Dave. This is what it amounts to right here. Wonder why
I'm not going to say who, but I had someone take me to a phone center, and there's nobody in it, just the person working that day. And you can walk around with the handpiece, and you can clip onto any phone. You can go to any number and listen in that you want to. Yeah. The people that work there, it's supposed to be only for maintenance, but he says
that's what he had. Yeah.
He said, but when you get a thing for to tap a phone, they just put a box on it, and then that feeds it wherever it's going. But he could listen to anyone.
How did they know that? How did they have an operator? Can someone explain this to me? How did they have an operator that took one thing out and plugged it into another? This seems like a sophisticated ordeal to be, I just can't wrap my mind around that one.
Huge changes in our lifetime, technology changes. And I think we're losing.
I think so too. Who was it that said, somebody, I think yesterday said, I think that, maybe it was Roger Holler said, I think Gen X was an experiment. And I said, I think it was too. I think we were, because you think you went from, and we had nothing like a technology. I remember when the web TV or AOL, your phone line was like, all of that. And I'm like, think of how far we've come. Now, the government's not going to release this unless they have a thing on it. Yeah.
First time I got an AOL and I could, did the thing and it connected, I said, this is the devil. I did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you think about it, though. It really, that was the start right there. And medical stuff and things like that. I don't know. Did your audio cut? Are you able to?
Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I wonder if the audience. Can you guys hear him? All of a sudden, the audio kind of cut.
I'm still here.
Yeah, no, I'm going to see if I can hear you, but it's like vaguely. Can you guys hear Dave at all? You got mail. Yeah, I know. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can turn this up. No, it just like lower volume. Yeah, that's what I got too, Magneticus. So I don't know why it did that, but it kind of just, did you bump something or let me see if I can turn it up. I can turn it up on my end a little bit, but it went down. It definitely went down significantly. Let's see now. How about now?
How about now?
Now, yeah, now I got you back. I turned it up. So can you hear me? What is that? The Verizon commercial maybe? No, yeah, now I can hear you.
I'm still here.
Yeah, no, maybe it was, Aussie said the same thing. She can hear you, but it's slow. It's better when I turn it up. I'm going to turn it up a little bit more then, because I have you up at 150% of what it usually is. So we'll put you like, try it now and see if it works now and see if we can't get you better.
Can you hear me now?
It's
test.
Yeah, a little bit better. You guys hear him okay? They're laughing at me. Better. Let's see. He needs to turn up his mic again.
Closer to my mic, but that.
Now I hear you. Whatever it was like instant kind of cut something. So it probably is StreamYard. AI's probably mad that we're talking about it.
Yeah, we hit a subject that they didn't like.
Yeah, they're just going to turn your mic right on down. But I can hear you now. Yeah, it sounds a lot better. Can you hear me now? Yeah, what commercial was this from? Like, when you hear me now? Good. That guy walking around. I think it was a Verizon commercial.
The old one.
Yeah, is that what it was? AT&T.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Mr. Catfish, hey, welcome. Yeah, see, I know everybody's in here. It's very cool. I live for these moments. Like, you got to get to know. And some of the stuff, it's like, it's out there and it's so real. And just because we're not necessarily geared, these are conversations we should be having here.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just accepting so much of this, and we're not really thinking this through. I don't think.
Well, I'm sure I'm on every list the government has.
Oh, I hit a few too. I'm a big activist. I'm not above grabbing a sign, and I've done it a bazillion times before. And I have a megaphone that's right over there. So I promise you, that's me. But that's just who I am at heart. That you got to get involved. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. It's way.
Well, as a medic, I got involved in. Let's see how you say it. The guys that run around in the woods and practice shooting.
Snipers?
No, like militia and stuff.
Oh,
I was a medical officer for a militia for a long time. And
we have the right to assemble. That's a Second Amendment right. It sounds bad, but it's not as bad as what people think.
In the Constitution, but when the thing happened with the Capitol.
The insurrection.
Everybody went to the ground. I mean, everybody went to the ground because the government was out sweeping everywhere. And you didn't have to be doing anything bad. If they could connect you to someone, you were going to jail. Yeah.
See, I was on Girls with Guns, and our state senator now, she was the one that organized it. There was nothing bad about it. But like I said, the police said that it was as soon as I spoke out against something that they did and they shouldn't have done, then all of a sudden that was a threat to them. I said, that's our constitutional right. I go to a gun range and I shoot at a target. I'm not shooting at some random person running down the street here. There's a target. It's in a building and it's like, come on, but we don't need permits to carry here. You have the right, you have the cost under the seat of your car. It's not a big deal here, but it is a big deal with the local police department. That's for sure.
We have constitutional carry, but you can't just set it on your seat. It has to be in a holster or in your glove box or
under the seat of your car or something.
It has to be contained, and I'm not sure what that's about. But
so they change it?
I don't know. It just came up. It just recently came up that some guy got stopped and he had it laying on the seat. They took him in. I mean, nothing. I don't think anything happened, but it was a technicality in the law that said it had to be in a holster or in the center console or glove compartment.
I thought that was worse if you had it concealed. If you had it out in the open, we were always told that's better, like to have it partly visible.
It's got to be concealed.
It has to be concealed. What is going on here? Now I'm so confused. Is it supposed to be concealed? Is it not supposed to be concealed? Like, what are we doing here?
If you carry it open, it makes people upset. So they don't like that. You go into Walmart carrying with your gun on your hip and people get, everybody goes to the manager and says, there's a gun in here.
I would think thank God, okay, great. We're probably a little safer. Somebody's got, usually people who aren't comfortable with them don't carry them. I mean, it's not like
it's a bank. The most dangerous place there is.
What is?
Gun-free zones.
Yeah.
I think every school should have a resource officer that's armed.
I think it should be even better. I think they should have one of the parents in there. And they should I tell you, the schools are so backwards. Yeah. They sure have the principal and the administration, they're outside, they're locked outside. So if there's a gunman, they were telling my child, a teacher, I swear to God, said this, throw your pencils at him. I said, we don't do that, Brody. You negotiate with him. I said, kids run that way, you run that way. You find a way out, I'll meet you down at the corner. And we're not playing throw pencils at a guy with a gun. What are we doing here?
Get out. There is a step, the last step of fight, if it comes down to that you should resist, because the most recent school shooters are get people in a clump and then shoot in.
That's what I mean. If you're putting all of them right at, you go the opposite way. They want the people, because if they don't have any hostages, we don't have a situation. They don't have any, you don't negotiate with terrorists here. So you got to go where the people are. Let's think about this.
I've been fighting for locks on the school doors, the room doors. And I knew they got a new superintendent last year. And this year they're putting the locks on all the doors so they can lock them down.
Oh, man. You know what they don't do, though? My son, now this is crazy, because he was in kindergarten, and one of the kindergartners that he went with brought bullets to school. And this is Iowa, but this is not a kid that you want to have bullets. Okay, let's put it that way. So he told, the kid ended up throwing the bullets in the toilet. Well, they locked the school down. My son gets back. I didn't even get notified that there was any sort of emergency. They had kids in kindergarten locked in the rooms. They weren't letting them out. They couldn't leave with their bags. They couldn't leave with their coats. And I was like, what's going on here? And I happened to be at work. So he had called, I called him. I got a call or something at like 7 or 8. They're like, oh, we'll explain what happened. They couldn't figure it out. I said, Brody, do you know anything about, a kid with anything? Or they said it was a gun. He's like, yeah, so-and-so had bullets in the school. So I called the principal. I was like, anybody talk to their kids anymore? My kiddo just gave me the kid's name. They called. Sure enough, it was the kid. And I was like, next time you need to notify, because if I want to come in there and I want to get my kid out of there, I'm like, the worst thing you can do is leave parents out. You didn't even respond to the parents until 7 or 8 p.m. and our kids were locked down. This is wrong.
They should tell you. They should announce it. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, they should. And then he, second grade, it comes around. And so he tells, same kid, comes in and he's got bullets and he says he's going to off somebody. So Brody went, he happened to have, what do you have, a teacher when they're out, a substitute. I can't even think of the substitute teacher. He went up and he told the teacher and she said, you're making that up. Go sit down. He said, no, he tried to really tell her. And then they found out after that teacher didn't say a word. Well, Brody tells he sings like a bird, like me. And so he told me, and I called and I said, do you want to know what happened? I said, that teacher didn't even step up forward and say, hey, I'm sorry, or tell that kid, or even own up to it. And they ended up getting rid of her because I said, this is wrong. This is wrong. Why aren't they talking to the kids? Why aren't they like interviewing the kids here? Nobody was asked.
And that's happened since with a school shooter, that they knew for hours that the kid was a risk and nobody did anything.
No, they don't do a thing. No, absolutely not.
Do something, and they knew.
I said, if you see something, you say something, and you do something. This is no more. We cannot stay quiet anymore. And this is a problem. This is how stuff goes on. Nobody's talking. Everybody's like, we got to encourage our kids to keep talking here. We got to encourage them to do this.
I talk. I have no filter.
I don't either. You're like the Gary Busey. It just comes right out. I said, I just like, it's, it's already out there. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't have said that, but I just did. So like Brody will be like, you can't say that. I said, I just said it. I just did. What are you talking about? I can say it.
About my wife, and so I want her protected. And then by protecting her, I think it protects the kids, especially the door locks. And she's not big on the idea, but this year I'm going to get her a Kevlar to go into her backpack.
Oh, good for you.
And so
we were out on the zip line. We used to carry. The lady had two of them in her book bag. She almost shot me at the gun range, mind you. She had like I can't even remember exactly what it was, but you didn't have to pull. It had a real sensitive, the first one, and it was like, and I was like, I thought I was shot at first. It was like that close, and then I was like, what about the guy next to us? I was afraid to look. But I was like, Lolo, you cannot have that gun. That is not one we need to be carrying on the zip line. But we used to carry them because there was like, out when you're out in the woods, people hide in the woods. That's where they go to hide. It's not like, you got to think about this a little bit here. But in Iowa, we're so lax about it, but you can tell it's starting to, that grip is starting to really, they're getting a little bit. I said, well, people don't have knives. Like, you think that just because it's not, what are you talking about? They don't have bows and arrows or those. What are we going to do now? They're shanking people in London. Anybody outside of this country will tell you, don't give up those guns. Do not give up those guns.
I'm like the guy in the movie where they tell him, give me your weapons. And it's like, start piling stuff up on the desk.
Yeah. It was so funny. We were at a haunted house and one of my friends, of course, bouncing around, and he's like, oh, like, and then he shows us, we get outside. He's like, I've got 80 rounds, and he pulls it out. And I'm like, you're lucky you didn't just shoot yourself in the foot. What are you doing? You were just bouncing around in there. And like you had all, what are we doing here? We're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no ghost in there. And you're just jumping around.
If somebody's carrying concealed and they ever pull their gun out, then they shouldn't be carrying concealed. They probably shouldn't be carrying the gun, because the only time it comes out, you lose your. If you had
only seen how he was jumping around, you would have been like, and then he's got it locked and loaded, and the safety. I don't trust the safety that much to be jumping around like that. I was like, you're lucky you didn't shoot yourself in the foot.
People go in the bathroom and check their gun, make sure it's still loaded or something like that.
That's exactly one of those situations. I know. He's like, I got 8, and he pulls out, and Brody's like, my son, he's like, what is he doing? I'm like, I don't know, Brody. These are the people I hang out with, okay? But when there's certain situations, they really come in handy, let me tell you. But yeah.
The whole point of concealed carry is that it's concealed. No one knows you have it. Not the bad guy, not the good guy. No one knows. And they won't know you have it until you use it.
Right. And people who use and they shoot, I have a lot of respect for when I'm carrying. It doesn't, like right now I don't, but they like a lot of respect for it. Those people who feel uncomfortable with it, I know.
If you feel uncomfortable with a gun, don't have a gun.
No, I shoot like a sniper. I'm really good. I have a good shot. I pull to the left a little, but I have a really good shot.
I've been shooting my whole life. I'm well trained. It's just natural to me.
Yeah, me too. I used to fear it, and because people, lock up your guns, and because things were happening. But I do. You can't leave it around. Like, let's not have toddlers here. They had. Have you ever seen the show? It was, oh God, can you believe it? America or something. They had where they set people up, like they would go in, like politicians, and they had the guy that had gun. They said he like gun rights. They went to him anyway. They convinced, this is the real deal. He was going around. Shows you how Washington is and how much they just jump on. Oh, you're on the right side. Then you got, so they had toddlers with guns, and they had this thing with the stuffed animal. It was supposed to be a joke, but they didn't know it was a joke. And then it was shoot the head, shoulders, knees, not the toes. And it was this stuffed animal, and they were going around to all these politicians. And I thought, this is a problem. This is a big problem. Just because they were all jumping on board with it. And then they ended up, oh God, I have to look at it. It was honestly like crazy. They had, they were setting people up, and then I think a couple of people really got caught up in it. And then they stopped doing it. They took it off, but it was on like HBO. And I was like, I couldn't believe it was real. And for 2-year-olds, they were going around and pretending, and people were just eating it up. Oh yeah, no, we're right. Gun, and I was like, they're just spitting stuff out. They don't even have common sense right now. There's no common sense going on. And it's so true. I said, everybody is so bought and so paid for, and they're so restricted on what they can say. And this is a problem. Everybody, I'm worried about so-and-so. We got to hurt some feelings sometimes. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we have a right to have a firearm, We have a right for free speech. All of our rights they're real. You know, it's not like it's optional. Politicians sometimes feel like it's optional.
We need to downsize this. How many more laws can they create?
They will always create if you don't stop them.
There's so many. It's so stupid. How many laws can we? Why do we need all these people? We don't. Let's clearly we don't need them.
Government. The reason there's waste is it's a big bureaucracy and it feeds on itself. So it'll keep making departments and hiring more people and growing if you don't stop it.
I mean, what do? We're in debt. I mean, we haven't even started. That's not my fault. I didn't put us in debt, I say. And then, we're giving all this money out. I was like, there's people here. This is crazy. I believe in limited government. You have to have fiscal responsibility. And would totally change this country in seconds if we eliminated half of this government.
You know that who was it? Jefferson was terrified that people would get elected to office and want to stay. He thought it was a service, like joining the military. You go in or two.
Not a career. It's not a career. It's a service.
And he wanted you to do your couple and then get out, and that's it. You go back to where you came from with what you know.
See you later. Right. We got somebody new. He's right about that, because there's too many career politicians out there, and they're good. They just get up there, they're talking. They don't really believe this shit.
Yeah. They've been in there all their life. They don't know anything about what's going on at home.
I ran, and this is on a local level, but one of my causes, and they wouldn't print it in the paper. So I said, well, you know what we're going to do when a spot opens on the city council, we're running, because they have to report what you say then, right? So that was, of course, it showed up in my district first. So I did it. I went around. I didn't want to. I had no intention. I thought if I won, I'm going to. But I told people, I will give you, I'm offering you the truth. I'm offering you fiscal. Anything I can release, I'll release it. And those other people on that city council hated me. But let me tell you the games they played. The guy at the local recorder, or where you have to go down the county recorder, gave me the wrong election date. They said, no, you have to check those things. This is a known thing. And I'm still, what do you mean? Like, you can't trust the guy at the county recorder's office. No, he gave me the wrong date. On all my flyers I printed off, there was a wrong date, and they gave me the wrong phone number. And I was like, you check the phone number out too for this? Are you serious? Then they made it into the nursing homes before I did, right? So I have video of one of the people doing this, because I'm like, we're following them. You guys get pictures of them. You send them to me, because this isn't fair. Like, at all. And I started to get into it, I was like, well, here I am, I might as well. And I was serious about everything that I said. And they went in, they got into before they shut the nursing homes down during that time. They told all of the people they ordered, got all those mail-in ballots for them. Well, it wasn't like they were for their dogs or deceased. No, they were telling those poor people up in that nursing home that they were going to lower their Social Security if they voted for them for city council by partisan position. I was like, what do you mean? And then they would ask me, they're like, oh, so the budget, what would you do about it? I said, I'm coming in after that budget's already decided for in the year. Why are you asking me what I would have done? Because I can't do anything about that. You have people that are making all these promises and they can't even own up to them. And nobody.
I think COVID was the real thing, the real push to try to do what they wanted to do, and it failed. I don't think it was. May have been an accident, got loose, but they knew what they were doing, and they knew how it spread, and controlled us, locked us in our houses, can't talk to each other, can't go to religious services. That was a real attempt to grab us all the way.
Oh, I saw it coming. I was into cryptology steganography. If you look on Cole, I'll post it from time to time to remind people. Before this even entered into the United States, we saw it coming. Like, it was, I think, around March right before, maybe a couple of weeks, nobody was listening to me. I had called all our doctors. Like, I had exemptions before the CDC was regulating it. And they said, you're taking this overboard. I went and I medically or religiously exempted us. I said, I don't care. They asked us if we were not very religious, like in God. Yes, very much. But I grew up in Catholic schools. I don't really like the organized stringent, religion, and we're all right and you're going to burn into purgatory thing. I don't like that. So
I'll go to church if I want to, but I don't go to church.
Yeah, I don't want to be told I have to, and then I buy indulgences to get to heaven or something. That's not the way it works here. You have to do right. And so I saw the whole thing coming. So people start shutting their businesses down. I was calling, and I was and they're like, and I said, you guys think that 2 weeks, you're crazy. Then it went 2 more, and I said, okay, 2 more. You think we're going to be in here for months? I said, yeah. We're in the fourth industrial revolution here. They're locking us down. Everybody's locked in their houses except for those census people that are relentlessly coming to your houses to see, because they're inventorying now where you are, who you are, what you have, and they need you all in one spot because they're going to control it. Are you kidding?
So just like old school communism or Nazis, it was they had your neighbors telling on you. Kids were supposed to say if things weren't right at home.
Yeah.
God, yeah. How close we came.
I would not let the Brody Zoom. I said, you're not coming into my house. If I can't go in, because you're telling me, they told my, because we didn't do it at all. We didn't do nothing of it. And so you talk about uncomfortable. We fought it. We really fought it. That got me in some trouble. I don't regret it, because I think everybody should have the right to choose. At no point does our Constitution say you are should you not go, should you be restricted. We have the right to a least restricted environment and to move upon it. No, the world's not the hospital. That's what I always say. The world's not your hospital. I'll gladly go and get your stuff, but you're not going to tell me I can't go and get mine, because I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. I don't know if I felt like I was like held hostage, but I didn't like it. No, I did not.
The little masks don't help anything. It doesn't stop anything. No, a virus is so small, it can go right through it. Anybody that's done any sanding and wear a mask, you can see where your breath's coming in and out afterward. You take it off, you got these lines.
Oh God, it was so painful.
Yeah,
I went to the dollar store and some guy was yelling. He worked there, and I said, "You idiot!" Like, I got a little upset, okay, because it's causing disruptions. I've had people break out and to stop the spread. The whole mall started chanting one time, and I was like, "All right, F you, F you, F you." It was very uncomfortable at moments. It was not, I've been threatened to people mace me. They busted out my car window. It was not a pretty thing. Oh yeah. Yeah, but I spoke out. Like, when I say I spoke out, I spoke out.
Yeah.
What's that?
You're radical in Iowa, but the around here was pretty relaxed. I was living in Hannibal, Missouri at the time, and they didn't enforce it. There were definitely the people get together and stare at you, but
you know what they did though? You want to know what? If people don't look and see if you have a sister city, and look in this little area in Dubuque. We had 3. One was in Russia, which I said we should keep Russia. They seem to have the most sense right now. Let's just not even put it that way. But we had China, and we had another one. I can't remember what the third one was, but the one in China. Here they had and set up in February. People didn't look back because they didn't really start feeling it till like around June, I think, after the thing. I said in February, nobody would believe me until they started looking. I released it all. It's all on Facebook. You can go see. We had isolation centers. They weren't going to tell us the location. We found it. We posted it publicly because what they could do, they didn't have the right to restrict us here, but they had the right to take a group of people. Guess who was going, people? Guess who was about to go? I'm guaranteeing that's what they were going to do. And they could put them in somewhere, isolation, where they had it all lined with these cameras. And it turns out because we have a sister city in China, and the head of the Xi Jinping and head of the CCP had originally had this territory. So we have John Deere here, and he had just been here. He considers a Monticello, not that far from here, his home away from home. They had set us up. Here, that nice sister city in China in February had set us up with protocol for this.
Yeah, I think China's very woven in to our societies kind of secretly.
They can see at all our cameras. Oh yeah. If you go and look, it's crazy. It's all mapped out. They act like, well, why were you negotiating if they're so bad here? And you know what? Some lady, when I worked on the zip line, I could go into this rant. She, real quickly, she lived in a neighboring country of China, and she said, we don't have trees. And I said, well, I thought you needed trees for oxygen. Like, I just thought that trees, no, we don't have trees. They took all their trees and they carved them into these frogs. I guess they're good luck in her country. She's like, so when I went to China, we did business, and she was high enough where because usually they have, and they make sure what you're recording, just like, your neighbor snitching on you because you have real sugar in the days with. Yeah. So she said, I wanted them. And I asked the guy if he could take me to the forest. I wanted to see the trees. And he kind of looked at me, and she's like, so sure enough, she's like, he took me there, and she went in. She's like, you go 3 layers deep. She said, there's all casinos behind those trees. There's not forests in China. And I said, what do you mean? She said, oh, China's always listening. She said, and I said, well, why are they hiding the casinos in the trees? She said, then you would still think that they didn't have any money. I was like, oh, boy. She said, they don't want the Americans to know.
Well, China does use facial recognition. And that if they allowed law enforcement, especially the FBI and stuff, access to facial recognition systems connected, they would use it.
They have it here. They have the camera set up here. They just can't technically use it. But they have a surveillance. I live in the first smart city of the whole United States of America, it turns out.
Smart city's not smart.
No, and this is going back. They brought IBM in, so that's why China can see in all our traffic lights. They can see in, and I said, why are we pretending here? Why are we pretending that they are such? Because if it's not safe, why does the head of the CCP now say his home away from home is like 40 minutes from where I live?
Well, our connection is obviously money to Americans. From this side, they see that as money. There's a lot of business to be done. But that's not why they're here.
No. So they set it all up here, and I said people are abiding by this. We have isolation. So they're like, we're not going to make it a law for masks. Well, I got a hold of. I went and I was digging, and I said, all you guys have to do is nobody wants to do their own work here. But you just go back and you start listening to city council meetings, which are boring. I get it, but you start listening. Going back in February, they set this all up. They had, and then when I was running for city council, people start snitching on one another because they want, so they're calling and telling me stuff. And I was like, oh, this is dirty. They're like, they were selling and giving away property because they knew that they were going to use that property then next year. So they were all buying it up. And they're like, oh, they just gave away for a penny a piece of property that they knew within a year that they were going to turn into. That's how they're doing it. Oh,
that's like using eminent domain for what it's not meant to be used for. It's very specific what it should be used for, but they just government uses it however they want. Cities are the worst, probably.
If it goes on in your city, if this level of you're going in and now you're holding our senior citizens and you're lying to them that have dementia and stuff like that, shame on you. And they're like, I said, this lady's on here. Her grandma didn't even remember her name, and she's on there. And I have the whole recording of it, and I released it. I just throw it out there. They don't like that. They don't like when you do that, but I did. And so oh God, it was so brutal. And I said, this isn't a system that you're going to win playing fair. And because I was all like, I'm going to go and I'm going to play fair and I'm not going to do these dirty little tricks. And you don't stand. I did really well at the polls, but I didn't get in. I did not get into those nursing homes and lie to the elderly people is what I didn't do right. And I thought, this is sick. This is really a sick system. And if it happens at this local level, can you imagine with the politicians and the funding of these companies? It's not. I mean, the county recorder gave me the wrong on purpose. He admitted to it too, that scoundrel. Yeah, it was too. Because then they wanted me to come down and validate and count after I was eliminated from the election. They wanted me to come down and count the ballots. And I said, sure, I'll be down there. Do you think I went? You find somebody else. Now tell me how you like it, is what I said. I mean, why do you think after you did that I'm going to come down and then do your dirty work? I'm not doing that. No.
I will not comply.
I would not. No, I did not comply. They tried to like, oh god, it was some stuff. Then they got a hold. It was the best. The newspaper got a hold. Somebody snitched on me, of course, of my Twitter account. And so, oh my god, they called and I instantly I shut it down. Like I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, I'm just a concerned citizen. I here nor there am going to confirm nor deny anything. And he went back. He's like, well, I guess it's shut down anyway. And I was like, oh, what are the chances?
Well, local politics is brutal, and that tells you about politics in general. The local politics is really brutal. It's like school boards in most cities. School boards have an immense amount of power.
Oh,
and that's why people try to get on school boards and stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't know if there was a video, but I went to the school board meeting and I was like, before I went up there to talk, somebody came, 3 people like, so I was, when I got up there, I was a little mad and I was like, and I just started turning the people, I just, don't give me a microphone and a cause because it just doesn't end well. So here there's like 60,000. Oh God, it was so weird. It was so uncomfortable, but I was mad. But when I hit that city council and I asked for the superintendent to resign, which he did, he had to. And because why he had to, well, he thought he was negotiating and he was going to play 2 sides of the fence. So he showed up and he stood behind or in front of a Dubuque County Patriot sign. Well, that was stupid because people were sending me pictures. That's where I got smart. And so then I learned that you have to have accounts set up previously, right? So I sent that and I turned it into a whole video. His name was Stan. And I said, Stan stands with our kids because he was there with no mask. He thought he was going to negotiate behind people's backs. And I sent that out to every single email, every single principal, every single whatever back then. And I said it was because he was negotiating. They didn't know. I said, this is how dirty this is. He thinks he's going to get in and try and play you. Oh, and I even had the county board of health come to me and they're like, if you tell your people, I said, I don't have people. Okay. But I did start on mass DBQ, but I'm not going to admit to it. That was nobody's business. I was just helping organize people with similar interests. I said, I'm just a concerned citizen's all, because they try and pin that on you then. So probably like you hit a list, I hit a couple then. And so I said, I'm just a concerned citizen. I'm not going to take it. I'm here nor there. I'm going to take credit for that. I'm just organizing. That's all I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with this. And this is fair game. You guys are sitting there and you're going to all these places and you're sitting at bars with no masks, but in front of the people, you're pretending. And I was like, that's not real. You're not abiding. I'm walking the talk here. You're going and sitting in a bar and then telling people they have to do it.
It really was. When people finally, like after your 20th shot, started resisting it, then it stopped. It really did stop then. It's when people resisted it that it stopped. You don't comply anymore. If no one complies, they can't make you do anything.
When I was going through, because I figured out if I could make it into the hospital, everybody can make it into the hospital. So we go in and they would alarm and the guy's like, I'm going to get security. I said, go get them. Let's get this going. I don't want to have to wait here for 40 minutes while you threaten me because we know you're going to have to let me in anyway. And he's like, what do you want them to come? I said, you think this is my first rodeo here? Let's get security. Let's get whoever and let's just get it over with. I'm tired of doing this for like 40 minutes. I had a whole spiel. I could do it for 40 minutes straight and nobody was getting a word in edgewise. And so, but I got tired of doing that, and it's like, man, let's just cut this in half. Soon they even tried negotiating. The guy was throwing boxes and everything, and he's all. I said, "Well, now they're dirty. Now what are you doing?" They wanted me to take one and fan it and walk out in the waiting. They were going to negotiate just to fan. And I said, "What is this? Not origami day? Like, what are we doing here?" Yeah, I'm not. That's stupid, and I look stupid doing this.
It's a spread. It's like a spreader.
Like, what do we? Yeah, just. Okay here. So I always would pick up the pamphlets, about the HEPA law, and I'd start reading the laws to them or reading them off the wall. And that's when we start negotiating. And I was like, let's do this. So my sister worked at that hospital and she was on the opposite end. It was just her business and whatever. I said, I just don't want to be told I have to do this. Like, I don't like being told what to do. As it didn't work well for me as a kid, and it doesn't work well for me now. You tell me to go right, I tend to go left. It's just the way that I work. You know, I've learned the hard way how to maybe, but I was born a disruptor. Yeah, I was born to do this.
There was no law during COVID that said you had to do anything. No law.
No, they're ordinances.
As the CDC said, and we got to go by that. You don't have to. That's their recommendation. Any recommendation, you have a choice to do it or not.
You should always have the option. You know, if I want to go, and a lady, I said, well, then put a couple of them on. I just can't do it. I honestly, I went from my nice cushy office as a therapist, and I went and I lifeguarded at the YMCA because I was in a pool. And though a lady would come in and she would dive in from time to time with one on, that was really the only place that, you know, you're safe. And I went to zip line as a guide trainer because nobody's going to make it up these hills. I said, you guys can wear them. You're going to die going up the hill, but that's on you. You know, like whatever. But you're not going to make it out there on a hot summer day here with a mask on there. But that's what I did in order. You can't just go out, and then so many people, it's like, oh yeah, no, out there cheering. But when push came to shove and it came down to doing it, how many people do you think showed up like when it was time for their kid to go into that school without one on? I didn't see one other parent. I was the only parent that took my kid had to go in there, one kid, and he was prepared to do it, and he did it. And he had to go eat lunch. They tried putting him in the basement. They were watching him on security cameras. They told him he was a public health threat because he may or may not have been chewing and talking with food in his mouth.
It gives people power, and they just can't handle it, the power. The
lady at the dollar store thought she could prescribe medication. I said, what are you telling me? You are customer service, and I didn't ask for this service. I didn't pay for your medical know-how, lady. You work at the dollar store. I work at the Y. None of us are giving, either one of us should be giving here doctor's opinions. You know, it just should not happen. But they got that. That's what happens. Sometimes people get that little bit of power, and then they're like the hall monitor, you know, like that nasty little kid that was picked on. Now he's going to show you. You know, this is what had. They had too much power. When that lady at that dollar store thought she could tell me with confidence, I thought, we got a real problem here. We got a problem.
Power is how it works. But, you know, any country that's gone fully, you know, controlled communism, whatever, fascism, whatever, that's because people get power. So you give somebody a little power, and they get power over someone else, and it just keeps going.
It doesn't stop. They get that. You try taking that power back from somebody. It's like, yeah, okay, well, my kid started driving. Now I'm going to say, you can't take that car anywhere. It doesn't work out very well. You just handed that away. Once you hand your power over, you know, you're going to have a struggle getting it back. Freedom is not free. It's not free. It's not in, you know, it comes at a very, very high price.
Yes, it
And
does.
yeah, and you're going, and people, I just saw how quiet people, you know, oh, we're the quiet majority. If I heard that one more time, I said, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw. I didn't fit in on either side. Or I don't. I never fit in. I'm always, you know, that person. But I think you always need that person. You always need the resistance. I don't like either side. I don't think, and I don't agree with politicians at all. I don't like politicians. Let's put it that way. They're dirty. Most of them. There might be a few in there, but the majority of them, they're not doing the right thing here. Not by the people. They're not doing right by you. Mm-mm. And you pay for a service, like I said with the police department. I was so mad. I said, I didn't pay for a disservice. I paid. So you have security guards. So when do your security guards start turning on you that you're literally paying for a service? They don't put their cars with license plate readers in the middle of the road. They don't track your movement. You didn't ask for that. They're taking it and they're abusing this power, and it's unconstitutional. But don't say that. My God, woo. You know, can you believe what she just? You know, it's like, I said it. I'm not the. I don't. You might not like it. I might not like what you have to say, but I will fight to my death for your right to say it.
Yeah.
If it's not harming yourself or harming somebody else, I think you should have the right to, you're entitled to it. You
There
really
has
are.
to be two sides. I love debating somebody about something.
But yeah, what fun would it be if we're all the same? It's not fun, or it's not fun to pretend. I tell you, I have a sister and she's like, you know what I respect? No, I don't know what you respect. You don't respect anything. And we look alike, but we nothing alike. You know, she's like that. If you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. So she's there and she's like, because she was on the one side and then she went to the other side and she's like, I respect the people that change their minds in this. I said, of course you do, girl. I bet you do. I bet you do. Thank you. I appreciate, that you appreciate my service to you, because now you have the right to choose if you want to go into your job or not, with or without that mask. And I believe that was me that went through and got you that right, because once I made it through.
I wasn't working. I'm so glad I wasn't.
Oh, during that time? Oh, it was so bad. I said, we just didn't do it anymore until I knew. I said, we're just jumping and we're doing things without thinking. Since when is being impulsive here? Everybody needs to take a breath. So I said, until I know if this is good or not, we're just not taking it. And we're just opting not to take anything, and not injecting anything.
There were plenty of doctors that knew that they would silence. Like the 6 feet wasn't even a thing.
No, they made it up. It sounded good.
Fauci said he made it up. He said they wanted to know how far you should stay apart, and he said, I don't know, 6 feet.
I worked with the local doctor, Dr. Hutchinson. This is a true story. And during that time, and he contacted me, he said, I went to a city council meeting. He said they tried grabbing my license and I spoke for 2 minutes. So he said, what people don't realize is the herd immunity that they said we weren't getting. He said by the 3rd month in the CDC, according to their standards, we all would have had a herd immunity within the first few months of this. It would have been all done in, Mm-hmm. And so he gave me all the statistics. I took them, and you usually get like 3 minutes. I got to like 8 before they finally cut the mic. I was like, and I got all this out, and I thought, man, this is the evidence we need right here. It went in perfect, and sure, nobody. They were like, it didn't matter what you said. This was already determined on what was going to happen.
Well, it's like COVID didn't go away. It's just another flu we have, and that's how it's treated now.
In Iowa, we get the influenza A, B. People get, unfortunately, like stuff happens. It's not a great thing to have, but I've had it.
Phil tried to kill me, but that was before.
I got it in January. The skating rink I went to thought that I infected the whole place. It was funny. Yeah, I probably did. I think I had it too because I couldn't breathe for like 10 days. It was really bad. It would have been in New Year's Day. So I think we locked down in March. This would have been like 3 months before it. And it was hung on. It was horrendous. But I did make it through it. But I think that was really I think it had already gone through before we even, it was, you can't tell me that they can contain this stuff. It's not.
You can't.
We grew up, they had super spreader parties. Oh, your kids got the measles. I'm going to bring my 4 kids over and we're going to knock this all out at one time. Not one get it, the next get it, the next get it. Like parents, they had done and over with it. I said that I grew up in those times. I can't forget that. Like it's like our
system. It's the human system, the animal system. You spread it. Some people won't make it through it, but in general, we'll come out stronger.
Yeah. I just don't think you should ever give up. If you don't have a choice, that's where it gets dangerous. If we can't stop and pause and think if we're going to participate and we're actually forced. And now you've got people, if you read the Communist Manifesto, and I read it, I did, by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels. And in there it says, live to your, you're going to look out for one another. This is the whole communism sounds great in a book. Oh, it sounds absolutely wonderful. Work to your ability, get back what you need. Everybody's going to look out for one another. Then it's going to fall and we don't even need government. This is how the Communist Manifesto goes. Well, that's not how it happens. You just gave your power away and now your neighbor's snitching on you because you got real sugar in your house and you need chocolate. I mean, and people are like that.
My sister lived in a commune in the late 60s. And that's how they started out, you know. We're all equal. We're all sharing. Everybody does work. It's all good. But
ration it out.
Somebody rose to power, and he was the one then dictating what everybody did, the work and stuff like that. So she left. You know, you could just leave, but that's how it works. Somebody's going to grab the power.
Somebody's the power grab. You're right. Somebody's going to, and it's not going to be who you want to come in there and grab it. Let me tell you, because it's like, and the whole premise is work to your ability, get back what you need. Because everybody be like, well, why would you want to go to school for 6 years and be a doctor when you could go dig ditches and have 6 kids and get paid more? Well, you're not going to be satisfied unless you're working to your ability. Oh, come on now. That's a bunch of bullshit. You know, it's like, now you got AI. I mean, like, what's our ability now? Like, we're right now, humans, we got to have, we don't have enough hostages, like, in this situation, so to speak. You know what I mean? We don't have, we're like, we're endangering their system because there's so many of us now. They don't need us.
And we're going to lose labor by massive numbers. And they say we won't, but we will. There's already it's already a Ford plant in Canada. It's just right across from Michigan, and everything is done by robots unless they have to restock certain things. And then there's a few jobs. I think they couldn't do the dashboard, and they finally figured out how a robot could put the dashboard up and in. So we're done, you know, as far as.
They have a plan for it too, because I said, well, how are you going to pay the people? Though they're going to put in a robot tax. So we're going to all oh boy, doesn't that sound a little bit like communism? So now we're not going to have jobs.
Well, they want to get rid of
rely on AI.
They got to get rid of some people. That's all there is to it.
Oh, they got to get rid of some of it. There's no need for all of us anymore. There is no need.
That list.
Who are you going to knock off first? You're going to go for the kids or the seniors? I'm sorry, but that's who they're going to come for first. And because why? Because you're consuming the most, and they got you on paper. You stay off paper as much as you can. Yes.
In communism, it's the productive people. That's who you want, the productive people. Kids don't produce. Elderly don't produce.
No, it's not like, oh, they worked all these years and they contributed all this money. Oh, no.
You're going out.
You're draining it. Yeah. Oh, but we'll give all billions of dollars to other countries. But yeah, you're eating. Yeah. When we're not taking care of our veterans, when we're not taking care of our senior citizens, and we're not taking care of our kids, what do we got going? Those are the 3 people you protect. I think that you protect the most. Like, people who are willing to go and die for you. Yeah, we don't put them on the streets. People who have paid and done their time and they're enjoying their golden years and eating dog food, we don't do that. Kids,
you pay your whole life for Social Security.
Yes, you do.
Let me tell you,
but it's going to eliminate. Why are we doing it? I don't, like, oh, well, they're going to eliminate it. Well, you know this, and you're saying this out loud, right? Why are we still
they're using it, evidently. You know, in the past, evidently, they've used money from Social Security on the deal that they would pay it back, the government.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're gonna pay you back. I bet. They print off. Let's print off some more money. This is the real kicker of this. When I found this out, I was like, I was that kid that I just constantly had to connect the dots. You know, I just wasn't satisfied with this. So I was like, well, where are we going here? Well, they print off the money, but they don't print off enough for the interest. Oh, well, that's not a funnel system. They're not going to get that money back eventually. They're getting that money back. They're not printing off enough for the interest. That's money they're accumulating. Yeah. They're not just giving it, and then they're giving it away. Okay, now we got a bigger problem. This is a joke. It's like, we just made the system to collapse.
Money. If you just print money, then you get hyperinflation. You can do it, but I mean,
we'll look at it now. I said to people, I'm like, oh God, you guys, my mom was one of them. She's like, can you explain inflation, how long this is going to take to kick in? I said, you bag of potato chips right there, lady. Okay. 6 months from now, those are going to be like $3 or $4. And you pay what, 75 cents, 90 cents for them now. You're not going to be able to do that. She's like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, really? Is it crazy?
Even if you don't, even if you don't pay more, look at the size of the bag the potato chips are in.
Yeah. Oh, the granola bars, they're like down to here. Then they're cutting all the kids. Let's get the calories out of the school, like down to 300 calories. Like, what is going on here? Like, this
Don't
is
like what they feed them in school, and it's
sun
not
butter. Right. Yeah. Now there's all these peanut allergies. I said, in my year, we didn't have peanut allergies. Let's ask ourselves why there's peanut allergies. Okay. Let's ask ourselves.
One reason is nobody's exposed to peanuts. Kids, they never get exposed to peanuts now.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening. It's a problem, reaction, solution. The same people that created the problem, they're coming out with the cure, and they're creating the ruffle. The best thing they can do is conquer and divide us. Like I said, we don't have to think the same. Please don't. Please do. We are all here for different reasons. But I will fight for your right to say it. We can agree to disagree. Like, it's not the end of the world, but we should be able to talk to one another, and we should be able to do it without like, oh, I'm gonna hurt her feelings. Well, sometimes you gotta suck it up. You really do. You can't sit there. Oh yeah, my mere existence hurts people's feelings.
Yeah, we get so much groupthink, and just think for yourself.
Being original. Be original.
And if you're talking to someone about it, talk to them about why you don't think it's right or what's wrong, and have them explain to you. And about 90% of the time, they can't explain it to you. You go down to like City Hall office and say, well, why is it this way? It just is. I had to move my fence so they could come into my gas meter, and it had been that way for probably 50 years, the way it was set up. And I had to move a whole fence so they could come in. And when they came in to read it, you couldn't even see through the plastic. So they'd never been reading it.
No, they don't even come out. I found out that was a farce too. The meters, they're just, it's just an estimate.
Yeah, you can do it.
Like, what?
Yeah. I was so
my water bill went up, and they're like, well, it's an estimate. I was like, we were gone for 2 weeks. What are you talking about? Why, do I get a refund now? No. This is the joke. This is how, you're right. When you start asking these questions, it's like, man, I can't believe this whole entire time that this is what I believed. It's like, oh my God, how stupid was it? But we didn't question it. It's like, oh, you asked your teacher. Oh, you're not. That's, you got disciplined for that. We were actually disciplined for asking questions. Like, this is the system we're from. People aren't comfortable with it. They're not going to be, because that's the way we're programmed. When people get all riled up, I'm like, your programming's short circuiting. Okay. Like, I get it. I merely, like, my presence irritates people here for good reason. But I said, that's not my problem. Like, I'm not here to take on your problems. Your problem's your own. Like, and I said, what irritates us about other people is something about ourselves. So let's go, I tell myself the same thing. When people get me riled up, I'm like, what is it about myself? I'm responsible for my reaction, nobody else is. Like, that's crazy.
You shouldn't be so concerned what other people think of you. Just like all the things, the paranormal and cryptid and UFOs, I don't care what anybody else thinks about me for them. I really don't.
It's a subjective experience, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I've never had a cryptid experience, but I'd like to. But
yeah,
I don't question anybody's experience, and I love to listen to people talk about it.
I know. I've gotten close to cryptid. Like I said, I had the old rakester, I think, outside the window, but he's gone now. But that was enough. I was like, ooh.
I turned my light off so I didn't look like a rake, a pale crawler.
You said that. I have the Irish skin too. It's my son's the same way. Like, during we're not exposed to the sun. We're like that. Yeah. The Irish side, you have that. I had to work at tanning.
And my skin became transparent. I was so burnt, it was just never recovered. Drained that 3-month period.
Oh God. I had, from being out on the river, was a 3rd-degree burns. I was like bubbled up in welts from how bad it was. Oh yeah. I got the real light blue gray eyes that the Irish people have, that's what I definitely get from that side. But yeah, we're not tanners. No, we're not tanners. I had to really work at it. And, then we're going. My grandma had a salon with tanning beds. And I'm like, now you go to the doctor, like, you've been in a tanning bed. I said, I've been laying in a tanning bed since I've been 14. My grandmother owned them and she didn't see a problem with them. I mean, I get it now, but back then that was not a big ordeal. I see what we're doing now. I get it. It's probably not good to be believe me, everybody in my family, but my moms, they are all spraying themselves with this stuff. And I never did. And I've never had a problem, knock on wood, but I look for a holistic route before I look for anything.
If I get out in the sun a lot, I kind of turn orange.
Yeah, I used to be the same way. If you look at pictures from when I'm younger, I had 2 shades. It was like ghost white and I was beet red. There was we had to wear the t-shirts, in the pool. We were those kids. I was like, I hated that. My dad would be like, we can't go out in the sun until 3 o'clock and we have to wear these white t-shirts. So we all look like we had the farmer's tan, like bright red arms, but in ghostly white. Yes, it was not. I thought maybe we should just have a little exposure to the sun. Can we just go out? We're in Florida. Why did you bring us down to Florida for the winter if we can't go out in the sun until 3 o'clock in the afternoon? It was just not.
Well, you do need a little sun.
You do. You want to know something though, Dave? When I went to the doctor, they said my vitamin D, when I was out climbing those zipline hills and I was out all day long in the sun, I had a vitamin D deficiency. How does that happen?
I had one too for a while.
If this is real, and vitamin D is really like from the sun, then how am I out there in the sun so many hours? But how did I live through when I was a kid and I couldn't even really go out in the sun until it was 3 p.m. because we were all going to be burnt to death, How is it now of all times that I have a vitamin D deficiency? Yeah. And it turned out everybody around that year was having I started talking to people because I said, this doesn't make sense. Why am I out I'm climbing hills here, people, like 8 hours a day. I'm out there and I'm hiking up. Let's go. We're giving zipline tours. And if somebody's stuck out on that line, guess who's going out? Lady who's afraid of heights. I'm doing backflip or front flips off of the tower, on zip lines, like I'm a little kid. But I was out there and I said, why? How are we vitamin deficient? This doesn't even D deficiency. This doesn't make any sense.
Else is depleting your vitamin D.
Either that or that sun, all that stuff up there is not really, it's being blocked out. That's the only thing I could think of because that's really when you started to see the skies. They had those nice fluffy clouds and then they went to these like streaks in the sky. And you couldn't talk about that though. They thought you were strange. I said, well, I found a news reporter who reported that in Chicago I think it was like in the late 80s or 90s. I still have the recording somewhere on record. I know. They were telling us about on the 13th floor in Chicago how that guy was controlling the weather. And I was like, well, I remember this. Okay. I remember this very clearly because I thought, how can some guy I was like ruminating on how this guy on the 13th floor, I couldn't figure out how he was controlling the weather and why it was on the news. And I dug it up. I have it. And I was like, so why is it that he reported this all these years ago? And so you'd have to be pretty certain there was a guy on the 13th floor or 14, whatever it is in Chicago, controlling the weather. But don't say that now. Yeah.
I know how you can control the weather. I mean, I know how you can manipulate, clouds and stuff and how you can put different things into the atmosphere.
Aluminum.
That's just a fact that you can do that. I mean, we spend a lot of time, the military spend a lot of time to use it for war. Either you want the better or worse weather, So.
Exactly. But why people they don't think that that's where the silent majority fails a little bit here, because if everybody just told everybody that this actually went on, and then we, you know, it's like it's not one person saying it. They'll sit in a room and you'll say something. I remember some guy saying about it, and I was like, hey, why aren't we questioning right now, you know, this, all the stuff that now is not the time. I said, what? Now they would tell me, now is not the time. We can't question. I said, we can't question people that in our own party. Like, they're making decisions here, people. What do you mean? There's things going in them.
You got the right.
Now's not the time.
You got the right to speak, you know.
I said, you know what? Now, you people, because now is not the time to say it. Every day that went past, and now wasn't the time to say it, allowed more. Now we got to repair more. Well, we did. This is our kids' world here. This isn't our world. We're exiting. We're leaving this to our kids. We should restore it back to some least reasonable place. Where do they don't stand a chance. There's so much surveillance out there. Your kid sneezes, right? They're going to know about it. Yeah. Your kid, these data centers are our city, those scoundrels, and I hope they're watching. They're sitting there and everybody's saying no. They're going to the county. The county puts in the law. They're like, okay, we're going to put this on hold for a year. We're going to stay like some sort of restraining order on it. Oh, well, now the city is going to sue the county. We're the people here. We are the people. It's us. Then you get the people who, a guy that used to be my group, F you know who you are. Like, as soon as push comes to shove, he's out there. Oh, well, maybe we don't need to go, because I said we just should not do the data centers, and we should just say, the hell, the city's not going to sue the county if we don't allow it to happen. Oh, well, with this, and I said, you know what, anything that I say, you're going to have your own little avenue. You're dividing. Like, I can say, well, you don't agree with that. We got to go. If we're going and we're dividing and we're dividing and we're dividing, you're not going to stop the data centers.
So the data centers theoretically are for AI, right? That's
yes.
Where they're going with
mass storage areas. And how does that end up good for us? They consume water. We're paying for it. The taxpayers are paying for it.
They have a guy that did invent micro nuclear reactors, and he can use them to power a data center so it doesn't cost the city and stuff so much. And he also developed a way to cool them through this, because the water costs too much, and so they're working on this. The data centers are going to happen. They're not even just going to happen. They're already in motion. We just are hearing about it now. We're hearing about it after they're going up and people are like, their water's coming out yellow. You know, we're just hearing about it now. They're already planning for it. They're already planning for it. You can't even convince me otherwise. The city's like, this is how they work it. You're just not looking back. You know what a fusion center is?
Mm-hmm.
Government a fusion center. The government has these places they collect all transmitted data.
Yeah.
Radios, everything. They don't necessarily know exactly what you said, but it's all there. It's all stored. So all they have to do is
Don't you think they know that though? You know what they did? Okay, so this is how stupid. And I got caught up in this. Oh, in UFOs, they didn't care. They don't care what the civilians have to say. They didn't have transcripts back then on your videos. So, so what you said like 7 years ago, really, was that a big deal? Like, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. They probably knew it was going to be transcribed. They just told us they didn't care what the citizens had to say, and they only cared about the military's experience with UFOs. Now that we're getting close to disclosure, they're saying, oh, we now care what the citizens had to say. Not only that, they have all of it transcribed. And everything that we said is already said and done. They've got record of it.
Everything electronically is recorded. And all they do is they need to connect a search with your name. And if they go through these fusion centers, it will come back with everything connected to whatever they're looking for.
I won't get rights to get a vending machine item out on a social credit score. Let's just put it that way. And I about died. I remember Stephen Bassett when he was first on, and he's our first lobbyist for UFOs. And he said, yeah, people, the experiencers, they have a plan that they were going to have, as soon as we hit post-disclosure, they wanted to what they call put in a caretaking government. They're just waiting for the government to say, disclosure. People are like, well, it's already happened. But yeah, you're watching the congressional hearings and you care what they say. Let me tell you, once they announce that, there is a plan, and it is not in our favor. It is not in our favor. And he's like, oh, yes. And then he was telling me about the list. And I said, I started checking into it. Well, I ended up on like 5. And I said, I'm not. And so I started telling other people, I said, do you guys realize this, right? When they go into post-disclosure, they're going to come, and you got real experiences, and you got MUFON out there. They're a backdoor. We found a backdoor right to the CIA. And I was like, now we got counterintelligence. We got all this stuff. They're coming right out in the open and saying this. Do you not think that they're going to come for you? The cryptids, you guys say, you're just as risk. They're just putting the UFO. So they're giving you a false sense of security. If you have a paranormal, they're coming. They are coming.
I know nothing about the UFO world, really. I know, but I always knew, I thought MUFON felt weird.
Yeah. Because they lied. And here they came. I snitched off everybody. Tom, I have to give Tom Whitmore, he was in charge of the whole, he was one of the board people on MUFON. And I went to him. I said, Tom, I found one with Jan Hars and something that this is going back. And I said, this looks like, and then they came out and they said, even the MUFON Fred, who I won't talk to because that scoundrel, let me tell you, he tricked in, they shut down MUFON when this is, I think, 3 years ago. I'd have to look back on my notes. They shut him down for 3 months. Well, the MUFON investigators, they're there, and they're literally the guy in Iowa that they sent out for my case was colorblind, Dave Creeder. Yeah. And he had never seen one in his entire life, nor did he experience one in his entire life.
How is that? Why was he an investigator?
He said he used to collect fossils because he was interested. He was retired and he needed something to do. That's what he did. And so I took him out with me. He wanted to come out, right? So I took him out, and here he is looking at the telephone poles. I said, I said, look at this. And he's like, that's stationary. And he's going, and then it's gone. I said, you just missed it. You're never going to see one, Dave. You are not going to see one. And then I was really upset about this. I was like, when I started to see how the inlines of this whole thing worked, and I was like, oh boy. The other MUFON, Fred, he tells me, he's like, I guess we work for the DOD now. He's like, we're a backdoor to AARO. And then sure enough, this guy who's friends, and I said, you know MUFON Fred, right? You know that he knows he's handing your information over. And he knows. He said, I guess we're working for the DOD now. He got so mad at me. And I said, are you serious? You're not going to tell your own friend that you just handing all of his stuff over, and he's wondering why all this weird stuff is happening? And I told every single person in Iowa. One resigned. The other one, he's colorblind. And the other one, they're just volunteers. They have not even seen one. And I remember after it got really weird, with experiences, I called him. I said, what am I supposed to do? I'm a little freaked out. I woke up now. I've got a star map on my leg. Okay. I'm in over my head here. He's like, did the veil lift? I said, what veil? What are you talking about here? What veil? I said, don't you have a book? Is there a step 2? I got on board now. Okay. Now what the hell am I supposed to do here? I'm literally scared, out of my mind at this point. I packed up Brody when he told me I had the star map on my leg, and I saw it. I was like, pack your stuff. We're going to a hotel. This is all fun and games until, I was joking, the nickel tour. Well, yeah, okay. Now, MUFON, I said, you don't have, is there a second chapter here? Is there a second book? What's the protocol once? No, we don't know. Oh, you got me into this, is what I felt like. You got me in this, and you snitched me off to the government, and then now you're going to leave me out here, and you don't know? Did the veil lift for me? What? What do you mean? You need to tell people that you don't know. You're just collecting data for the government. That you need a hobby MUFON Dave, and you're just going to collect data like you did fossils.
Seems what they do most is they take reports.
That's all they do.
They just
and
write.
They know. Everybody who's working for MUFON now knows, because when MUFON Fred snitched him off, he said that we just had the they had the FBI come in first, and then they had who watches over the president? The secret security came into MUFON. They shut their computers down for 3 months. Well, here he told our friend MUFON Dave did, oh, I was getting new cell phone service. I said he had this, he's had the same phone and the same phone number. He's lying. He is lying to you, and he knows. He told me he worked he's a backdoor for now the CIA. Now he's worked for AARO. A bunch of people left MUFON. So then they shut him down again. It was during this time, right? So the only, and people don't know this, there's no one really that works for MUFON except for and their systems are down for 3 months. They can't take reports. And now your volunteers are lying and telling people something's not wrong here. So I said, anybody who's working for MUFON right now, you should be asking them questions, because they know what they're doing.
I feel like there are cryptid groups that do that too. I'm not going to say anybody, but they seem to be working with the government, and they control the message. They want to control the message.
Oh, you better believe it. I got into cryptology and steganography, and I started. Okay, so how this works is the project. What is it? Operation Mockingbird that came in the CIA. They're planted in your media. Everybody. Oh, they're repeating the same line, the same line, the same line. That's how these cells, they operate in small. That's how we did it. We had a 3-person team that I worked on. Mostly it was just me. And I was a part of the HETLAU, HETLAU, which is humanoid extraterrestrials live among us. And I thought, I'm going to get in this to prove this wrong, because this sounds insane to me. This sounds insane that something like this could be operating in our awareness. No. So we looked, and we were working, at this time, the Navy, they were deeply rooted in this. And there was a lot of deception. So we were cracking brevity codes. You know how you have like the 3-digit code for whatever. So we started cracking them, and we started finding out, because you're filing FOIA requests, you're not getting your UFOs. That's not it. They have an identified code. There's 2 of them that they use. You're not getting the information because you're not asking for the right thing. You start to break this down. This is how they communicate. There's a whole system. I started seeing it pop right out in all our news headlines. That's how I knew that the old COVID was going to come. We spotted it. And I was like, this is no joke anymore. I did this as a hobby. Now we stumbled upon some real stuff here. And I honestly thought it was innocent. I thought it was all crazy that I was going to prove this wrong. That's not what happened. I have and it got me in some trouble over, we were really getting to some roots of whatever. And I said, these groups operate in cells. They don't even necessarily, we wouldn't know who one another were and that's why if you look at the name, right, SNX stands for Subnation X. What does that stand for? Subliminal dissemination, polymorphed. Then the 8 is in there because it's bracketed ET, and that's how we would find stuff out. X is who you're looking for. So that's why it's SNX. Now that's not going to make any sense unless you know what I'm talking about. But somebody else who who is a part of that same group, who knew that information, they'd know what it was talking about. You could communicate in like just a few letters, and you could get a whole big long message out. It was that easy. But it was like learning another language. It took some time. It really did. But it is so much is right there, hidden in plain sight.
If you wrote a book, you should write a book.
No, I should. You know what? I tried, and every time I get into it, then I have to add more, and my book's endless. So I just thought, man. But I'm like that person, that wealth of useless information, I feel like, like, oh yeah. People are like, I know you shouldn't ask that, because I'll I got this whole thing mapped out, and they're like, I know, just check into it. So I usually give people checkpoints. Otherwise my mom said it scrambled her brain. So I was like, oh God, one of those, huh? But yeah. But Dave, it's been so awesome to sit and I could chit chat with you all day. But you know, thank you so much for coming on. And I'd love it. You know, if you want to do, like I said, people, we want to have a party, do some trivia or stuff. You know, like I can do clips. If you have any ideas or anything, drop them in chat. I would absolutely love nothing more. And chat, I know that you're still here. I got talking. I do that from time to time. I'm like, I just get so caught in that moment, you know. But I've really it's been really wonderful, Dave, and I really appreciate you coming on and talking to you about your experience. So before you leave, is there anything that you would like to leave the people until the next time?
Not really. I personally would like to get out more. I know I look youthful, but I'm going to be 70 this month. And,
oh, you don't look it at all. 70 this month?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
23rd.
Well, I'm going to have to write it down. So everybody remember that Werewolf's birthday is on the 23rd. Well, I wish you a happy birthday. 70 years old? Really? Oh, God, you don't look it. You look young.
That's why I stopped hunting, because I couldn't carry my own game out anymore.
Oh, man. So what would you like to do more of? What would you like to do more of?
I want to get out. I would like to go and do proper, what I think is cryptid research, or just, you know, you go out and I don't think you can hunt them. If they're out there, I don't think you can hunt them, because I've been hunting all my life and I've never seen them. So, you know, I don't think that. How
would you think, like, this is what I've been going with. Is like, there's a thing, like a whole Operation Beamlight that I want to put in place. And I want to give people, hey, we can set up like general protocol, right? Because the government gathers information before they necessarily know how they're going to organize it. But maybe we could implement standards, or people in your area. Maybe we could connect somehow. Do you have any ideas? I'd love to do more.
No, but it's hard to find people. I just finished physical therapy. I got a new shoulder.
Oh, wow. Well, oh, man.
And I was just doing physical therapy, and me and the guy, my therapist, we go at each other hard about stuff. And, you know, oh, you like Bigfoot, huh? You think Bigfoot's out there? And this lady that was working out, she says, you say something about Bigfoot? Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen it. I posted a footprint I got out of my yard. And
oh, really? No, I didn't see it.
It's on my Facebook. I have 2 big German Shepherds, and I got a male that has huge feet, and this thing is twice the size of his feet. Oh. But and a few people have looked at it and said maybe Bigfoot, but it's not Bigfoot for sure. Could it be a juvenile? It has nails.
Oh,
so it has to be, you know, canine of some kind.
I'll have to look it up. So did you cast? You went out and casted it then?
No, I didn't even think anything about it. I said, "Oh, there's a print, and I don't know what that is." So I took a picture of it, and thought I'll just put it up and see if anybody says anything. People didn't say much, but I never thought Bigfoot. I never did.
Do you want, you know what, if you send it to me, I can post it out on our pages if you want a response and find out.
Sure.
Maybe you can connect with people like in your area, and we, you know.
Just like that lady, I just found her by talking about it. And it's hard to find people to talk about.
It is. But we should start organizing this. Like, you know, I'm in Iowa. Everybody knows where I'm at. Like, even if you don't feel comfortable, like put your state, maybe we can connect and start connecting these dots. Because that's where we're really lacking here. That is definitely where we're lacking.
Yeah.
But that's, if you give me permission to do it, I can put them on and put them out there and see, you know, sometimes you don't realize who's around you. You just have to keep connecting, you know?
It looks to me like whatever it was jumped. I have a piece of privacy fence where the city made me move it. And it looks like something jumped over the fence and landed in the mud. And
so they're pretty deep then, huh?
Yeah, it was deep, well defined. And, like I said, my male German Shepherd has huge feet, and it's much bigger than his.
How many were there?
There's just the one. There was like a puddle or like a mud, which you can thank my dogs for.
Oh.
But it had rained and it was muddy, and it was just the one. And I should have looked on the other side of the fence for tracks, and I should have looked through the yard.
You probably didn't think about it.
I didn't think anything about it, but if something went through there, it was fresh, so I could have seen the grass.
Oh,
you know how it is when you walk through grass.
you don't think about it at the time, though, do you? Like, it's like, oh, well, this is weird. It looks weird, but like, is this, you don't really think through it. But Eric off of PNW Rush, he says he only gets a Bigfoot. He gets a right foot. Like, he thinks they're kind of playing games.
That they get a lot of right feet.
Yeah, like there's only one print, so they think. I said, well, is he hopping through here? Well, who knows what they're doing? Who knows how this game is played? Yeah. Just because we need 2 feet doesn't mean everybody does either. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Anything is possible at this point, is what all I'm saying.
Well, you know how Bigfoot glides when they walk? They glide when they walk.
Oh, I didn't know.
That's very different than humans walking.
Yeah, and I drag my feet sometimes, but I've heard that even too that they'll get knuckle, like they get going like knuckle imprint, but it would kind of make sense. I've seen babies kind of do this route.
All of it, I want to believe and I want to see, but yeah, there's I don't want to keep dragging it on, but like some people have the ape experience, looks very apish, but
yes.
William Nighthawk had some pictures, and they were very that someone had drawn of what they'd seen, and they were very aboriginal. It looked
really
very humanish in the face, just aboriginal.
That's what Pops has talked about. His clan, he says, is more human looking. Like there's certain, and I've heard what's his Kentucky Bigfoot KTB. He talks about some have 6 toes, some have 4 toes or something, or 5. I don't know. But that's interesting. And some are so specific.
The greatest guy out there, by the way.
What's that?
Pops is the greatest guy out there.
Oh yeah, Pops is great. Yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge. He knows a lot about and he's very in tune. But you find, especially like in where I lived, it's like in certain areas, but they thought that the cornfields, that this chatter, whatever it was out there, but it was very specific. A lot of them were very specific to your area, So without, where you feel comfortable, you want to tell people your location. So if they're there or they're around your area, they can, maybe they reach out and look out. Because this is being broadcasted everywhere. Then it's going to go out to audio side. So if you want people,
I live in Monroe City, Missouri, and I don't care if anybody knows.
But okay, it's near in that Hannibal. Area.
It's near Hannibal.
Where?
Near Hannibal, Missouri.
Okay. So if you guys are near Hannibal, Missouri, Hannibal, Missouri, and Dave, before you go, tell them the best way that they can find you. So if they're in your area and they're listening right now, or they listen in the future, what would be the best way to find you?
I'm on Facebook now, which was new. I came back to Facebook because I didn't trust it.
And it's David Schrader.
Yeah.
Which David is SHRADER.
Right. And I think it has my email and everything on it, I think.
Do you want to I can put your email out there if you want, or I don't know, but like.
Yeah, you have it?
No, I don't. I'm not right in front of me. I don't, but a lot of people don't use a lot of social media, so they want their email listed. So I can put it because of the description.
It's hard for people to get right. It's Vanfar Training.
Can you spell it for me?
V is in Victor, A-N, Far, F-A-R, then Training, T-R-A-N-I-N-G, at yahoo.com.
Okay, so I'm going to post it right now and make sure that I have the right. So I have V is in Victor, A is in Alpha, N is in November, F is in Fox, A is in November, R is in Romeo, T is in Tango, R is in Romeo, A is in Alpha, N is in November, I is in Indigo, N is in November, G is in Gulf. Is that right?
Yeah, you weren't in the military.
I flew airplanes and I cryptology stuff. But yeah, no. So I'm putting it there now. I got it confirmed, and then I'll put it in the description just so people can. So if you guys hear this, then that's how you can contact it. And then it's also Werewolf, and it's give me the last 4 numbers.
5674.
Oh, I got it right in front of me. 5674. So Werewolf, WEREWOLF 5674 on YouTube. You can find him. Facebook under David Schrader, SHRADER, and the email that we just went through. So, and I'll put that all in the description for you. And if you guys are near this part, Hannibal, Missouri, please look him up. And you cryptid, he's ready to go and do some digging for us. So, and he's not working for the government. So see that.
Well,
definitely support you.
Working for Social Security.
You deserve it. And you worked and you did and you fought for our country. And I appreciate you for that, David.
Great. I was glad to do it.
Thank you. Well, on that note, I really want to thank you for being here. And real quickly, I'll just want to thank, this is this conversation, I've really enjoyed this. Amy, thank you so much and welcome to the new SNX member, ground crew member. Michigan Sandman, thank you so much for that super chat. Squatchin', and I hope you're feeling better. I know you had a stroke you put in there. Please, we're sending our love and support out to you. Yeah. Benno from Oz, you're absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. And our moon at noon, to the moon and back, I say. But thank you guys so much. So, on behalf of SNX Radio, I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO. We got the lovely, Maya's usually next, but I like the lovely. We got our David. Yeah, we got our werewolf in here today at 5674. See? He's connected to it. We just got, you probably are so much closer than you even realize. I bet you are. I bet you. We'll talk in the future and I bet you find something. So yeah, on that note, we're going to sign off for the night and, enjoy your weekend. I'll be back at 2 p.m. tomorrow with John Sear. You guys don't want to miss the show. It's going to be great. He's awesome UFO experiencer and he's got he's great experience. But again, David, thank you so much for being here. And yeah, everybody be safe out there and we'll see you on tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Till then.